Evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. Thank you for tuning in during our spring tournament power hour here at 9 p.m. Eastern. There's 5 different races you could be watching. You chose here to be here with us tonight. I'm joined in the booth by Jet2980. How you doing, Jet?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's been a great week so far, and I'm looking forward to the power hour in this tournament. We got two very good 1 and 2 runners. AliGerBrap participated in last year's rando tournament, finishing a close 2 and 3 and got eliminated in the last chance qualifier. Burt, on the other hand, is a huge up-and-comer, with a lot of people surprised to see him in the 1 and 2 bracket, so this should be a great race. Both are fighting to stay alive.
Yeah, this is a huge race. Both runners need a win here. They want to avoid the last chance qualifier here as having 3 losses. Hey, hang on a second. I'm gonna get our stream synced here for just a second. So I'm gonna pause this. So 3 and 3 is the best record you can have to go into the last chance qualifier, which will have probably close to 20 runners in it. But take a look at this level 1 match here. Ice and Temper lock 2. Less than ideal.
Yeah, so we have some good late game stuff, but nothing that's really going to help you get through the early game, which might be what you're looking for with 3 mages in your party.
Yeah, Chain Armor's a good find here. 21 gold. We can throw that onto the red mage. Same level of absorb as a silver bracelet for a fraction of the cost. So the stakes here, as we're talking, with this spring tournament having 6 weeks of Swiss, we're looking at you need a 4 and 2 record to make it to the play-in race. Only the 6 and 0s and 5 and 1s will make it into the brackets outright. Then the 3 and 3s will play in a play-in race where only the top runner will advance. The last chance qualifier, and then only the top runner from that will advance into the play-in race, which will again feature about 20 runners. And depending on how the seeding and the seeds go with the 5 and 1s, there should be about 8 slots up for grabs. So very harrowing meat grinders. If you're one of these runners, you only want to be in one of those races. You only want to make it into the 4 and 2. So a lot at stake here in this 4th week of Swiss.
Yeah, I think the pressure's really been amping up, and you can see it in the practice rooms. Races are going on all the time, and these runners, especially these two, seem to be very dedicated, so they definitely both want to win here.
Oh yeah, and BurtReynoldz, our first runner to make it to the Temple of Fiends. Let's find out what's in these first 3 boxes. Uh-oh, wooden hat.
Not even worth going into the menu to equip.
No, that's not even worth selling. That's just, we're sad that we found it. Opal hat. We'll sell
On the other
that.
hand,
yeah,
that's a good money hat right there.
Yeah, that's our level 2 magic right there for sure. So the routing here with the Swiss, if you've been watching for the past 3.5 weeks now, you know that we have a guaranteed loose canal. Whether it's required or not, we don't know. But we know that it's loose. We know that it's loose in the Inner Sea. That's either Marsh Cave, Matoya's Cave, Dwarf Cave, here in TOF, or possibly behind a key if we get an early key. Ooh, canoe.
Yeah, so that early canoe opens up a lot of options here. I think maybe, given that we're missing a little bit of magic, there'll be some magic checks in order, pay a visit to our pirate friend. But other than that, there'll be some decisions to make on whether or not they want to hit Volcano or Ice Cave early.
Yeah, I think we might see Burt immediately go to Crescent Lake to see what the Circle of Sages are holding on for us. And Ragnarok784 joining us in chat, he says no Marsh play early. I was like, well, I don't know. I still like another Marsh play.
Never Marsh, never Marsh. I always go to Marsh begrudgingly, only as an absolute last resort. There's just such a variety of enemies down there that you never know if one of them is going to roll a script. I think it's almost worse than anywhere else in the entire game for that.
Yeah, I'll concede that. But we also got that TNT. That TNT could be floater. Did I just roll us another jet seed? I know a couple days ago I did one for some runners, but
I think at least one of the 5 races ongoing right now, it'd be very kind if one of them were a jet seed,
Yeah.
just so people can catch all the other ones, because there'll be a lot of exciting things going on right now.
Ooh, still missing those early sweepers, Quad X and Fast. That'll get the job done early. If we get early Crown, Quad X should take care of Garland. Fast and Temper early is going to be real good because we're going to be able to, especially with them not conflicting with any big sweepers, we're going to be able to dump them into our black belt and get them up and running.
Yeah, I find that of the insta-death spells, Quad X is actually not the worst thing to find early. As you said, it can be good to get some experience on some early enemies, like single targets with lots of worth lots of experience. As well, it can help take out things like Astos.
This pirate fight is going to take a minute.
Yes, that is definitely true.
But we should be okay. It's just going to take probably, 2.5 rounds, because Ice, the Quad X, and the Black Belt punches should be able to clear them out for us. So the canal still may be required, even though we got that canoe, but we got to find out what Bicky's got. We got to find out what that TNT turns into, and maybe there's a shop item here. We're looking for overworld progression. We're looking for a transportation item. We have the canoe. We know we're looking for either the canal or the floater.
Also, I didn't catch it the first time, but we also have life at level 2 magic there, which is always a nice pickup for that red mage. When you're running this white mage-less party, it's always a big risk if you can't find red mage or even red wizard learnable life magic, so that's a nice find here.
Pretty cheap cabins at 91 gold. You like to see that. And there's those silver bracelets I was talking about. 1,066 definitely is on the cheaper end of the bracelet economy, but yeah.
And did you see what we picked up from Bicky there?
I did. We got the cube.
Proponents of Team Sky, Sky, Sky are always happy to see those. So what week is it this week, Caleb?
It's Sky Week, so those people are happy to find that cube. Happy now. We just got to find the chime. We don't have early access to warp or exit, which would behoove us to go to Sky early, but maybe we'll get it in level 3. I still like a cheeky marsh dive here.
I think you find any excuse to go to Marsh. You're like, oh, I have an early key. You know what that means? Marsh.
Yeah.
Or, I haven't found the canal after checking 2 free chests. You know what that means?
See, you're learning how to play the game. No, it's one of those things I talk about it a lot. No one wants to go there. I don't want to go there, but when you're racing in a 1v1, you have to not just execute better than your opponent. You have to, I won't say outwit them, but you have to be willing to make the plays that they won't. Everyone knows the standard routing. You go to Provoca, you check your inner sea fetch quests, and then you go to Marsh if you haven't found any of your canal in the boxes. So no canal yet, meaning canal is likely in the Marsh Cave unless this TNT turns to a key. But when you start shaking up that routing, you can turn a 5-minute check that is a potential 5-minute time loss into a 20-minute time gain. So if it pays out.
So you mentioned a little earlier that this is Sky Week. So for people who aren't as familiar, what does Sky Week mean?
Thank you for keeping me on track, Jet. So the spring tournament this year, every week for the first 4 weeks of Swiss, we have the same incentive dungeons with the Temple of Ordeals, the Titan's Trove, and the Ice Cave. What changes every week is a rotating Fiend dungeon. So week 1 we had the Sea Shrine was incentivized. Week 2 we had the Earth Cave. Week 3 was the Volcano, and now week 4 here is Sky. So next week it'll be a random Fiend dungeon just decided by a random number generator. And then in week 6, it'll be our Chaos Week, where there is no Fiend dungeon incentivized, and we are looking for 3 loose plus our loose canal. Where this week we're just looking for 2 loose and the canal.
So absolutely a casino simulator in week 6 here.
It's...
So we saw here on Bert's screen that the TNT turned into the crown, which unfortunately for him turned into the Thor hammer. So we're still looking for any sort of progression here in the Inner Sea.
I love the Thor hammer here. Our black belt doesn't have much to do, so why not give him the Thor hammer, give him some free lightning 2 charges so he can contribute in battle, and our black mages can focus on running, and we can do what they call like a run and gun. So I don't hate the Thor hammer in the first 20 minutes.
That's true.
Yeah, we'll get a lot of work out of it.
It perhaps does not lead to the same disappointment that it gets when you're an hour into the seed, haven't found the floater, and you turn in your last remaining incentive location for it.
Now, I don't know if AliGerBrap has been following along, watching the different races, knowing how my seeds tend to roll, but Burt knows. My seeds typically, for whatever reason, typically favor early marsh or early earth plays. So I wonder if he's going to keep that in the back of his mind, or if he's going to out metagame himself and do something he wouldn't normally do.
You are the seed whisperer, so unfortunately you cannot roll your own seeds, but you can make everyone else go to marsh.
Oh, I roll my own seeds all the time when I practice. That's how I know these trends, Jet. Oh.
Ooh, so level 3 is full of delight. We have Nuke and Fade.
It's unfortunate that they rolled on the same level, both red mage accessible. It's honestly it's less than ideal, because you would love to see that red mage learnable Fade at level 4 or something. That way you can kind of double barrel it. You know, when your nukes break down, you got a few more Fade charges to fall back on.
Yeah, at this point, unfortunately, Fade is not even worth picking up, because between the two, there's no benefit at all to casting Fade over casting Nuke.
Yeah, Fade rolling on average between 80 and 320 damage, Nuke rolling between 100 and 400 damage. Both are non-elemental and are not resisted by anything, so both are real good, but over the course of a whole seed, Nuke's it's gonna get you there a lot quicker.
So how about the housing market? Did you see that?
I didn't, but I saw the gold bracelets and pro rings.
So we have houses for $443.
Wow.
So this will be a very, very nice seed. That is cheaper than I think even some of the endgame inns. So we're looking very, very happy here.
Ooh. A key from the Circle of Sages. And back we go to the inner sea. But I did notice in level 6 white we will have Red Wizard learnable life 2. By the end game, that Red Wizard's going to have about 5 charges of it, which should be enough to get us through the Temple of Fiends Revisited, even if it's sort of nasty. 5 charges is pretty good, especially with the level 1 life as well.
Yeah, Life 2 is underrated. I mean, perhaps not underrated, but can be underrated for not only being an incredible spell, but also being an incredible time save. Just letting a party member die, and then being able to revive them at full life can save tons of time throughout the seed, menuing for heal pots.
Absolutely. That's why they call it the best healing spell in the game. It does one more than Cure 4. Also nice to see is the level 3 wall, which helps mitigate, and I mean it does share slots with Nuke, but if we don't find ribbons, hey, that's pretty good. And I think that was Cure 3 there in White Magic level 4, and Lightning 3 in Brack. I didn't see the second two.
Yep, that's what I saw as well. And those are all nice, so at least we get some Sweeper Magic level 3 and 4.
Yep, no warp, no exit. That feels a little bad.
Yep. So Ragnarok mentioning in chat that Fade's learnable for the Red Mage, but as we mentioned before, there's Nuke at level 3. So Fade, great that it's learnable, but no one's going to pick it up.
So Burt here showing off the 4 corners of Crescent Lake. So sort of right, I think it's mapped southeast just a little bit. There is an intersection of 4 different encounter zones on the world map where BurtReynoldz, you can see, is taking a hard reset and walking around in each one of these little quadrants to see if he can find maybe 4 peds off the hard reset to get an early little grind here going to get his party probably up to like level 12, level 13, because he might have it in his head that he's either got to go to Marsh, to Ice, or to Volcano, and you want some more of those nuke charges.
Yeah, so there's a kind of a saying in the community that early levels are worth more than late levels. Why do you think that is?
Well, it allows you to explore. It allows you to survive early, so and you get them a lot quicker too. So if you can, if you can get up to mid-teens in like the 15-16 range pretty quickly, those will carry you a long way. And then especially with these black belts, we're going to be checking spike tiles. We're going to be looking for early grinds because we're going to want to get that black belt up to at least 32. And the nice thing about the key here is it gives us access to 3 pretty free grind tiles, 2 in the Northwest Castle and 1 in the Temple of Fiends Revisited. So if one of those is favorable, I could see us just sitting there dumping some nukes, buying some of those cheap houses, walking out, saving them once our mages get up to the mid-teens, maybe danning them off if the black belt's able to melee them down, or if we find like an early massa, or all sorts of wonderful things that could happen.
Yeah, what I find is interesting in these seeds with the way that we have 5% experience per key item. So what that means is that for every single key item that we get throughout the game, we're going to be gaining more and more experience. Yeah. And that kind of leads to this situation where you end up getting some early levels for survivability, and then if you can get a few key items under you and then find a great grind tile, you can easily get that black belt up to 32.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of ifs. If you can find key items, and if you can find a spike tile.
Yeah, if-then statements are never feel good here in the randomizer. And I am corrected, Wall was in the 4 slot of level 3, so that is not learnable. The Fog 2 spell that we saw, that's the one that we could learn with that red mage. So Fog 2, another one of those underrated spells. People like to lay on the invis too. I mean, I get it, a few casts of that, and if the monster can't hurt you, it doesn't matter how much absorb you have. Where Fog 2 buffs you up, gives you extra absorb every fight, and with enough casts of it, even Kraken's going to be doing like 8 hits, 8 damage on you. So, it will also help mitigate damage from crits. So, Fog 2 pretty good in a pinch if you don't have access to invis.
So here on Burt's screen, we're just doing the key lock chest. Now, basically as soon as you're in the Inner Sea and you have access to these are a really good check. Getting the early money, the early items can really power you up. Although I hate doing these chests without exit or warp. It's just so much walking.
Yeah, we do get the free house, so that's nice. And we can sell that Aegis shield. Unfortunately, it doesn't sell for a whole lot, but hey, 5,500 gold in the early game, we'll take that.
Yeah, so for the next little bit, I think the runners are mostly going to be checking the key locks, figuring out what's open, and then eventually, I think one of them will have to make a play either into one of the 2 available dungeons or into Marsh.
Yeah.
I don't even consider Marsh a dungeon. It's just Marsh.
It's one of those mini dungeons, man. It's like Ice Cave or Waterfall. It's just there's not a lot of boxes there. I think there's like 13, and 3 of them are key locked. So it's really only 10 boxes that are real spread out. And like you said at the beginning of the broadcast, that there's a lot of different enemy types on there that can roll different scripts. And we got Hypes Nova asking question in chats. Crits do ignore absorb, but with enough absorb, I think it's like 50% or something like that. So if like you have enough absorb to, yeah, thank you Classic Gamer 76 clarifying. Yeah, it's half of your absorb.
Yeah, so perhaps more accurately is reduce or helps get through is what crits do, but they don't ignore it entirely.
Yeah. So with enough of it, like, you know, you get your in combat absorb up to like 80 or 100, 80 to 100. Like even Kraken's gonna be, you know, not doing too much. Maybe those big 300 crits are only gonna hit for maybe 100, 120, something like that.
So we found a decent spike tile here, which we'll see if Burt continues to run back.
Yeah, we have that early quad X. I'll be curious to see if he throws out a quad X on it, just to see if these blue Ds rolled super low. Because if they're falling to that, then this could be our grind, and he's gonna test it. I like the play.
You spoke to him as is tradition. Though if they heard you, all they'd hear is Marsh right now.
Ooh, so they may not be immediately quad Xable, but with a nuke and a couple quad X's, 2200 XP is pretty nice.
And considering they only have 4 key items at this point, that's quite sizable. That's not a bad grind at all.
Yeah. Blue D's
Unfortunately,
Oh,
go ahead. Oh. I was gonna say, unfortunately, it's not the ideal tile right now for like a solo black belt grind or anything like that. They're way too low level, but this is going to get that whole party up to those mid-teens where you really start, or early to mid-teens where you really start feeling comfortable exploring the first, say, half of this game.
And Hypes Nova in chat pointing out you gotta watch out for their big physical hits. So we saw it punch the black belt there for pretty high. What's AliGerBrap doing?
I don't know. Is he making early?
He's doing it. He's making the spicy ice cave. Call it the spice cave.
So I don't mind this. This is actually something that I quite like doing early. I find Ice Cave can give decent levels if you find, especially if you have a good run-off power cycle. You can get in there, and there's a lot of chests. The other nice thing is that in, I don't know, 70 or 80% of seeds, this is going to be required. So you're going to be getting here at some point anyways. And as long as you can survive, and you have enough nuke charges to get through, this can be a really good play here.
Ooh, and Burt looks like intentionally downing the two black mages, and we're gonna solo grind this. If he pulls this off, this is gonna be huge for him.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a reset. So
they punch pretty hard.
Yeah, might want to come back here once we got gold bracelets or something. But Ice Cave, just like Marsh, has a lot of different enemy types down here. We got a lot of the undead enemies. We got the wolves, the giants, the sorcerers. It's sort of a sneak peek at not just what could be waiting for us in Marsh, but also what could be waiting for us in the end game, as there are Topher enemies here with the Frost Giants and Frost Wolf pack, with the mages and the sorcerers. Like, there's in-game enemies here, so this could be great. This could be really scary.
The number one thing I find that can make or break an ice dive is the number of unrunnables. There are a lot of steps in here, and with only, I think it was 3 charges of nuke each, so they have about 9 casts. If you're running out of nuke charges halfway through this and there's a bunch of tough unrunnables, there's no way a party like this is going to survive fighting or punching through this type of, in Ice Cave right now at the level they're at. So running in, so far I don't think I've seen a single one. He's taking some fights for levels, but that could be a good sign, and that could make this Ice Cave work out.
So Burt, while Ali is in here clearing out the ice cave, Burt went to the Dwarven Armory, and the only thing of note that he really found was a katana, and reset back to Canaria, not happy with the money or gear he found. I would have maybe kept that katana just because it might sell for max gold.
Katana is kind of like the opal, was it helm or shield that we saw earlier?
Yeah, this is the helmet.
Yeah, just a nice money sword. Yeah. A great endgame weapon if you're running a thief, but unfortunately they are not here.
And Burt finding rock goals here, unrunnable rock goals on the right spike tile here in Northwest Castle. I think that is the Shadow or Wraith spike tile in the vanilla game.
Yeah, I don't quite remember. This is not one that I've frequented often, I guess.
Yeah, you're not going to take these grind tiles in the vanilla game. In fact, the fact that you can just maneuver around them in the vanilla game is really nice.
Gotta pull out that Nintendo power.
Yeah, yeah. And
so let's talk a little bit here about just general black belt strategy. So what makes a black belt different, and why is it going to matter in this seed?
So black belts, once they get more hits than any other class in the game, and they really start to hit their breakpoints. Once you get them over level 10, with like level 15, that's when they're going to start punching for damage. Once they hit 21 and they get their 6th hit, that's when they become a little more reliable. And then once they get into like their mid-20s and they've got some more strength behind them, they're basically hitting as if they had a Masa, or the Mosmune in their hands. And then once they get to 32 and they get their 8th hit, that's basically an in-game weapon that you're walking around with. Is AliGerBrap finds the other katana here in the 6-pack of ice. But then once you hit 42, oh buddy, 10 hits, let's go. Nothing's stopping you.
Yeah, the black belt is something I would kind of talk about like an end-game carry in a lot of other games. It's something that, starts out super weak, needs to be put on someone's back, carried around as dead weight, but then they give you that inevitability. There is no Topher strong enough to withstand a high-level black belt.
And unfortunately, that black belt falling down this fight. So upside here, our mages just got to 17 on that fight. So Burt getting awesome levels. I imagine we're going to pop out, drop a house, and come right back in.
Yeah, I think I saw 17 on those mages, which is super high. Well, not super high, but pretty high for 24 minutes into a seed.
And AliGerBrap getting a pro ring, that's pretty good. So the other thing worth mentioning about the black belt is we're not going to equip a weapon unless we find a masa. Black belt fists are going to be what we use. Also worth mentioning, black belts don't wear armor. For every level that they gain 1 point of absorb. So once you hit level 15, you're basically wearing chainmail, right?
Yeah.
Once you hit level 24, you've basically got a gold bracelet on. That we still might put armor on our black belts if we find the opal bracelet, if we find a pro ring and a ribbon, just so he's super protected. Also worth mentioning with the black belt, for every level they gain, they get 4 points of MDef. That magic defense is going to help them resist magic spells, help them resist instant deaths, and if we're feeling cheeky and we get that black belt up to like level 47, 48, we have about the same amount of magic defense that we would get by equipping a ribbon with its resistances. So we'll be able to resist those banes in Temple of Fiends Revisited as if we were wearing a ribbon. I don't think we're going to see a level 48 black belt on Burt's side unless Temple of Fiends is just that bad. But we could see a 42 for sure.
Absolutely. And so some pretty interesting plays going on right now. So Burt, listening to Caleb's advice, has gone to Marsh, trying to find that canal. But on the other side, AliGerBrap picked up an adamant in Ice Cave.
Yeah.
So some divergence here, and this could be critical. Of course, if the adamant turns into the floater, that's a huge, huge advantage. But yeah, Marsh picking up a canal here could be big as well if it doesn't turn into a floater.
Yeah, I mean, I like the play, especially, it doesn't matter what that adamant turns into, I like this play because it's the only incentivized dungeon in the Circle Sea, in the Inner Sea here, so I don't like skipping. Okay, we got those chests our first time through, never mind. Never mind, AliGerBrap. Carry on. Making pretty good work here out of what he's got going. He hasn't hit the levels that Burt has, but he's going to be able to do the Dwarf Cave much more efficiently. You know, like he's going to do the key locked and the adamant while he's there. If nothing happens here in Marsh, Burt's going to have to come back to ice anyway. If the adamant turns to floater, Burt's going to have to come back to ice anyway. So like it's an interesting play, and I like what Ali's doing here. He's going to do the full clear, check the key lock boxes.
Yeah, I think the other question here is whether or not he wants to do a quick peek at Volcano Armory. That's something else that I've done here, but I think with the adamant, the play is definitely just to go straight to that dwarf, check those key locks, check that, see if you can find a floater, because that would completely change the nature of this seed.
Yeah. And I have a feeling if Burt doesn't find anything in these last, 2, 4, 5 boxes left down here in Marsh Bottom, if he doesn't find the canal, he's going to be real mad at me. But we know that it's not ice, so but it could very well be here in the volcano, and Ali's listening to you, so look at that. We got strong route divergence here in the early game.
Yeah, so what AliGerBrap is actually, he's doing exactly what I do in a lot of seeds. I don't know why, what I love about Volcano so much. I think it's just opening all those chests at the same time just hits me with this like gambler's high of like,
oh, yeah.
Will I find Massa here? Will I find Massa here?
Yeah, it's Christmas morning down there.
Oh yeah. I think also there's a low number of encounter steps, and for a very high density of items. So for people who maybe aren't as familiar or just starting running, not every single step can trigger an encounter. And there's a little bit more detail going on, but just know here that whenever he's stepping on lava, that does not progress him towards the next encounter. So even though it looks like he's traveling a bunch of distance, he's actually not taking as much risk as he might be when walking in, say, Ice Cave.
Yeah, and another thing worth noting, and you can kind of see it on Burt's screen, is when he's going into rooms, he's walking along the bottom of the room. Those tiles that hug the walls in the bottom of rooms also do not advance the encounter table. And neither do the tiles in front of doors. So lots of little ways to save yourself steps, save yourself encounters, and get through this just a little bit faster. And AliGerBrap, the old pro at this, knows what he's doing, and BurtReynoldz, the bandit himself, is a quick study, and he like we said at the beginning of the cast, he's been here for about 6 months, and he's in the top 10 on the SRL boards. Like, dude knows what he's doing. But
So that's a nice find on Bert's side. He's got the Zeus Gauntlet. It's not obviously as necessary given that we already have the Thor Hammer, but that's always something nice to find.
oh yeah, the more item magic you have, the better it feels. And we're down to 1 box left before Burt yells at me about my marsh cave. Big brains. Sorry,
Ooh,
Burt.
and I get to gloat with my Never Marsh. Why would you ever go there?
Well, we found the Soria tile. That's pretty good. I mean, they did have Gaze, but Sorias are still pretty good XP. I think they're like half an Agama. So.
Agama being the official unit of EXP.
You got it. And did you see what AliGerBrap just found?
No, I missed it.
He just dug up a defense sword.
So defense is a really great thing for 2 main reasons. One is it's actually an okay endgame endgame sword. However, it does, unfortunately, it's like kind of like a big anime sword I picture. It's very heavy. So we're going to need to make sure we promote first in order to use it. The other nice thing, promoted or not, is it casts the one that gives you more evasion. Ruse, yes. Not Invis.
Yep.
And that will help your survivability big time in the late game.
Oh yeah. And you know what else AliGerBrap just found? Iguanas with Stone Touch. So good thing we bought those soft potions.
Yeah, I find that I almost always am picking up 1 or 2 softs as soon as I can afford them, almost always 2. And just playing that little extra safe really saves you a trip back at really bad times.
So one of the things that Bert's rock gold grind got him is the money to just load up on gold bracelets here. So he's about to get, and you got gold bracelets and pro rings, so his mage is looking pretty beefy with that absorb. He's got good levels. So while he did lose some time doing that marsh check, he's going to be right on Ali's heels here.
Yeah, so we definitely have a tale of 2 different like benefits on both sides. So on Bert's side, he has a gold lead, he has an experience lead. But on AliGerBrap's side, he has a big exploration lead, as well as just a little bit more key items. Now, of course, if AliGerBrap decides to go Marsh after this, that will all change. But right now, he has a pretty good feeling for, what the next steps might be.
We got jerk birds on AliGerBrap's side, Paralisks with Glance. Yeah, you hate to see that.
But so far, otherwise, Volcano hasn't looked too dangerous. A couple things punching, a couple things casting, but nothing that's been too crazy.
Yeah, glance and Stone Touch, it's pretty bad, but it's not the, you're right, it's not the worst. So Burt gonna clear the long hallways, the hairpins first, and Ali on his horse already gonna go down to the Agama floor. I think he's gonna just skip the long hallway box. No, okay. Being thorough, I like it.
Yeah, so that Black Mage being down, I didn't see if he looks like he still has life charges here. So I guess that person's just going to be sleeping for a while.
Yeah, we'll commit to the 3-person just to get a little bit more XP funneled into that black belt if we can. So, got an extra pro ring. I don't think we're going to equip that just yet, but it's nice to have. Saves us about 12,000 gold.
Absolutely. There's a very interesting dynamic with gold, where the earlier you get it, the better. And then after a while, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I've played seeds where in the end game, I've gone into shops with like 300,000 gold and walked out broke because I had to buy like 3 max gold bracelets and then a handful of like 20,000 gold spells, and it's just like, okay, I'm glad I found all that money.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it's not that common. It's usually the byproduct of a seed where you're either running. It happened to me today. I was doing a pickup race in the community, and there was a level 1 nuke. And for those that don't know, back in week 1 of the spring tournament, Ikben Maya and Sealyfae raced, and there was a level 1 nuke, and Ikben Maya re-rolled to 4 red mages and just blasted through that seed and lived off that nuke. So me and a couple of the folks in the chat picked up on that strat and all did the same thing. And so with that, I spent a lot of money on that seed because caster heavy parties will require a lot more money than a fighter party or a black belt like heavy party. Because black belts you don't need to spend any money on, really.
Yeah, if anything, you get to sell all those Aegis shields and dragon armors you find.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, okay. So maybe I might have jinxed it a little bit. We just had fires with thunder. That is not the kindest thing you want to see there.
No. No.
So speaking of party comps, whenever you see matching comps, what do you think?
That it was a draft, usually.
Absolutely. So we did have a draft here. And the draft order went like this for those of you who are curious. So Burt opened up with a black belt. AliGerBrap took a red mage and a black mage, and then Burt finished off with a black mage. So we don't have anything too crazy here, no quad fighter iron golem business. But we do have, you know, a forced comp here. So any thoughts on that?
I mean, I've seen Burt in some drafts with just, you come out of it and you're like, how am I going to make this work? You know, it's just like, I guess I'm going to two-man this party. But black belt, red double black mage, this is a serviceable party. The black mages will fall down pretty easily when we need to get them to the grind, and the red mage hopefully will be a viable support healer as well as damage dealer. So, and it's something like this stone, all this stone and the volcano might actually help to our advantage if we keep those soft potions. The stone characters are much easier to bring back than dead characters, as it's just a soft potion. So might help us out. We did see I think it was the 4 Agama grind on the Gerworm tile. So lots of decent grinds here early. Between
the granddaddy of experience themselves.
Oh no, those are the Gasties. The Gasties are the 4 Gasties are the encounter that broke the game, and they had to fix the way the randomizer gave you double XP.
Oh really? I did not know that.
So back in the day, they would literally just double the XP that the enemy gave you, and then you hit 4 gas dragons and you had like a huge XP multiplier on, and then it just overflowed and broke the game. So it just gave you too much XP. So what they had to do is, now when we say there's 2 times experience, instead of you getting double the experience from encounter, you're getting the same amount of experience that you would get. It's just the threshold to level is cut in half.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, going back to the draft, so to give you some perspective on what gems, we'll call them, Burt has drafted in the past. Last time there was a fighter black mage comp, and the time before that was a thief fighter red mage. So very melee heavy.
Yeah, so Burt, big fan of the draft. And
Ali did just wipe in Volcano. So another nice long walk here, but on the bright side, he knows what's in the chests. He knows what he needs to check in the ag on the floor, so.
And we know that the canal is here.
He doesn't know that.
Yeah, but he's going to be real happy to see it, because that means he won't have to go to Marsh. And Burt will likely take out Ice Cave while he's in the area too, so.
Yeah, I expect Burt to maintain a solid level advantage throughout, for quite a while, at least until AliGerBrap decides to take a break and do a little bit of grind. It looks like he's up about 4 levels right now, which is fairly substantial for this stage of the seed.
And you see Burt taking, not like a long grind, but taking 2 to 3 fights per spike tile. And that's a good strategy to just get like a little bit of levels here and there, not destroy all your resources. You want to be able to keep some stuff in the tank for when we get down to carry. And those Agamas rolling fewer than 270 HP. AliGerBrap just keeps getting... I don't know if it looked like he was intentionally setting up a 2-man there with the black mages up front. But...
Does he not have a life charge up?
I don't know. I haven't seen his spells.
taking a second wipe here in Volcano, or a third wipe actually, would be very, very tough. And there's our canal.
Canal and Volcano. The Volcanal. Volcanal. Get a first turn run, wow.
I was just letting that Volcano sit there for a little bit, just, you know, sit in the silence.
So he does have 4 life charges. Curious what the goal is here.
He could be looking for some experience on the red mage, but in most black belt parties, you're not really looking on getting solo experience on anyone except for that black belt, especially in the early game. It's definitely an interesting play, but we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's trying to conserve his heal pots.
So he's gonna bring him up briefly.
Yeah, like bring him up once he's out of the lava tiles. But this is we're getting into a scary place here, and we see Blaze with Now we gotta start using nuke. So I wonder if this is just exploration for him, and when because this is inevitably a wipe here unless we get really good turn order here. And we do. So unless this is just pure information and he's just like, okay, when I die again, I can just grab the canal and go. But
yeah, unfortunately, information on where the item is that's blocking your progression is not exactly the type of information you need. That's the item you need.
Yeah. So he did pick everyone back up. And Burt's going to show us our first look here at carry 1. And Burt, more than in a more than comfortable place here to take on this carry. We're going to defense up with the black belt. We don't have any tempers. We're going to dump a fast, and then we're going to start dumping tempers into that black belt. We're gonna Fisher Price this black belt together and just get him up and swinging.
You're not level 32 yet? You know what? Here, we'll give you a little bit of assistance.
Yeah. And Burt did tell us before the race that he was having a little bit of struggles with his internet, so I'm wondering if that's what we're experiencing here as he's showing us the PowerPoint here.
Just providing some suspense for the fight, making sure that we don't get any spoilers when AliGerBrap takes carry on.
Okay, I lost his stream, so...
Well, while Caleb gets that spec set up, AliGerBrap is going to take on carry here. Looking similar strats. Punch, nuke, fast. Oh, temper, sorry. So no defense for AliGerBrap, which seems pretty much like his thing right now. Going through a little bit fast, but trying to get it done, and that is not a good sign. So that was 4 hits for 7 damage, so we have a high absorb carry here. With a crit, 73, but he's down to a single person. And out of nukes. This is almost inevitably going to be a reset, and there he goes.
Yeah. Still working on trying to get Burt back up.
So while that happens, AliGerBrap going into Volcano for a 4th time, and that wipe has to hurt. I would guess here that he's just going to grab the canoe and get out of here, but we'll see if he's going to try and fight carry again. So
Burt he's got the canal, so I'm going to assume that he got through carry 1 no problem. The extra levels here in the early game definitely set him up. So
not much in white magic there.
Uh-oh. I mean, lock's not bad to have. It is locked out to the red mage.
Lock is a spell that I think is something that I really like having in my back pocket. Lock 2, not a big deal, but I do find that having it can really save you against some high evade fiends.
Yeah, with its ability to always hit, there's almost no reason to not at least pick up one level of it. What it does is it reduces the enemy's agility by 20, which is half of an invis stack, or a quarter of a ruse stack. So if you think ruse, it gives you 80 evasion with every cast. 3 of them will get you up to 240 evasion, which is basically max evade. If an enemy has 240 evasion, which they can get up to with these flags, lock is the only way you're really going to get around that. Lock, or just, yeah, that's really it. Like if it's
Lock
high,
or nukes.
yeah, like if it's high absorb, you can use a Vorpal to get through with its high crit rate. But with high evasion, the only way to deal with that is, like you said, either level 1 nuke or a ton of lock charges.
Yeah, something that I often will do on a Fiend fight is to make sure that I'm punching once somewhere in the early rounds, just so I can get a sense, because I love having that early lock 2 in my back pocket.
Yeah.
But I won't cast it right away. Unlike, fast, which is, first turn cast, temper, which you can cast right off the get-go. Lock is something that kind of needs to be read, but when you're hitting, a level 32 black belt and it says 2 hits, it's time to bust that out and be happy you have it.
Oh yeah, if you're swinging a black belt and you're getting, you fast that black belt and he's getting 2 hits, it's like, okay, you're supposed to be getting 20. Well, depending on the level of the black belt, if it's a 42 black belt and it's getting 2 hits, we're in problem town. So, but BurtReynoldz gonna come into the ice cave. He will get his adamant. We don't know what that adamant turns into, and Burt might feel a little bit bad about it, because he's gonna have to go all the way back to the Circle C to turn that in.
Now, AliGerBrap once again playing a little bit fast and loose here, trying to take on carry again, but this is looking tough. Now, this time he does have 2 nuke charges on his red mage, and we'll see what his black mages are looking like.
Yeah, we got 18 heal pots. We're gonna be cutting it pretty close here. But you can see just divvying them out one at a time. Healing up the mages first, so I think he's gonna be relying on nukes to get through.
Yeah, so because his black mages have been down most of the volcano, I would assume that they have, a decent number of nuke charges here.
Yeah, and maybe that was his play to keep them down. So we have
8, I think I counted.
Oh, we just lost 2 of them.
So once again, a high absorb carry. So, but she is paper.
Yeah, the paper mache carry gets burnt to a crisp, and AliGerBrap lighting his first orb here right around the 47-minute mark, so probably about 4 minutes behind Burt. But Ali, with the exploration lead, doesn't need to go to the volcano. To the ice cave, yes.
Yes, so I expect here we'll see AliGerBrap turning in that adamant, and potentially there will be interesting words thrown at the screen if this turns into a floater. Oh
yeah. Yeah, I think the more colorful language will come from BurtReynoldz' stream, just because he is doing this ice cave before. He's got to get the ice cave done to get the adamant, but yeah, just kind of backwards routing a little bit, but there's no way you know that if you're Burt.
Yeah, well, with what Burt's been doing, it was fairly clear that he was searching for that canal or a loose, right? Because doing marsh, you can get a loose key item there, but it doesn't have high chest density, it doesn't have an incentive, so that's really is a canal play more than anything, or, a casino play, trying to get an edge.
Now, what I would love to see is that adamant turn into a rod, and to see Ali go in and full clear earth before going to waterfall and ordeals.
Yeah, that's a really interesting play. Something I always find is that as I've kind of gotten a little bit better and gone in a little bit faster, the number one thing that sped up my times was actually doing the opposite. Hitting ordeals, hitting waterfall when I had the opportunity.
Yeah. Because that's the standard route. That's what I was talking about, man. Like that's what you're supposed to do. Those are the heads up plays. They're quick dungeons. They're incentivized. Earth is a nightmare, but it's there.
I've seen people hitting the top floor of Earth though has paid
Yeah.
big dividends with a relatively low time commitment versus diving all the ways through.
And there's 5 boxes there. There's 3 unique spike tiles. We're always looking for the ever elusive third eye grind. So if it's there, then happy birthday black belt. We're going to 42.
So we have lit 3 at level 4, which is always nice. We saw that a little while ago, but now picking it up, the added cash.
I would grab that Cure 3. Yeah, that's real good. That's almost a Cure 4 at this level.
I've seen a number of runners commentate in their post game like debriefs that, man, if I just picked up some heal magic, it would have saved me, once again, similar to Life 2, a ton of time just not menuing, not buying them.
Oh yeah.
And just, casting them in spell slots that aren't being used for anything else. Like there was a harm something there. That level 3 or level 4 slot, if they had a white mage more so, but would not be being used for anything else. So might as well use it to cast some cure.
And even still, like with that red mage, the only thing it's sharing a slot with is that Brack, Lightning 3, and potentially Fire 3 if we wanted that. And like that's fine. That's fine magic, but I mean like that's not magic you're going to be casting in Topher, really. So you're not going to be trying to Brack crack it unless like your dive went off the rails. But using that, like you said, using that slot instead to Cure 3, like going into Sea Shrine, going into Sky Cave, we probably won't use that Cure 3 a bunch because we want to preserve those Bracks for Kraken and Tia. But, it's one of those things, it's like, where are you going, Bert? Okay. Got a little worried. But yeah, one of my favorite spells in the game is Heal 3, because casting Heal 3 once outside of combat is basically giving all 4 of your light warriors 3 heal potions at a time. It can drastically speed up your healing in Volcano and Ice Cave, dealing with the damage tiles. Getting into a nasty encounter, Heal 3 can pick you right back up instead of going in and out of your item menu.
I'm not gonna lie, I know this is wrong, but I almost love seeing Heal 3 at level 1 with no other good white magic more than anything else. Because it means I can, without like feeling bad about it, just spam that Heal 3. So that way I don't have to menu through all the heal pots.
Okay, so required ice.
And not much else.
Yeah, so it's always good to find the loot incentivized. Loose loot is the biggest punch in the gut there is when it comes to these flags, where we're gonna have 2 loose. You want it to be like loose Thor hammer or opal bracelet. Like that's the dream. Like it'd be nice to find. They're nice to haves, but they're not required. But here we might be okay with a loose tail. If we find it, great. If not. Because going back to our conversation about black belts, all of that wonderful MDef growth that you get from leveling a black belt at 4 per level goes away once we promote. It switches to 1 magic defense per level, and we don't want to level once we're a master, so we want to get all of our levels as a black belt. So
yes, an interesting level up, per se.
And Bert checking the caravan here, we still are looking for a vendor item. So now if the floater's for sale here in Onrak, how behind do you feel?
Ooh. It is a rod.
Alright, so required item.
We have found our vendor item.
Ooh, Cure 4 in the second slot. That is unlearnable. So we'll need to promote to grab Warp as well, so less than ideal.
See that.
Yeah.
Especially when, an ordeals check is coming up pretty soon here.
I mean, level 7 Warp, if anything, I don't think we're even close to level 7 charges here. I think that's like mid to early 20s for the black mages, but you would have loved to have like an early Warp here for the waterfall too. Like, yeah, this could be a pretty nasty place, but...
Ooh, so we have unrunnable nightmares. Generally speaking, this should be okay, but they can punch pretty hard.
Classic gamer clarifying in chat for me, level 7 charges come in at level 20 for the black mages. I think I'm getting them mixed up with the red mages. I think they're like 23, 24. Alright, route divergence. AliGerBrap doing the ordeals play, BurtReynoldz doing the waterfall. So I appreciate our runners splitting up the checks here, giving us all the information we need, and not having one of these will likely be the chime, unless the chime is loose in earth, and then LOL.
Yeah, so I think for what people are looking for here, an Oxale would also be interesting.
Yeah, Oxale in either location. I mean, obviously, I think Oxale and Ordeals benefits Ali.
Absolutely.
There's our Gasties. That's a pretty good spike tile. Ooh, they rolled up though. 338 didn't take them down. 500 damage didn't take them down. 650
Ooh.
does. So between 500 and 650 damage to get these Gasties down. So this isn't our grind.
Yeah, this is where you would love to see, once again, exit or warp. You can take it, one more time with your remaining nuke charges and then get out. But at this point, I don't know if you can take it any more than the one that's required to get out of here.
Yeah. And Ali, I blink and you miss it. AliGerBrap through the pillar maze. It's remarkably fast.
Especially without warp.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Burt come here so I was too busy counting damage on Gasties. I did not see how simple this pillar maze was, or if AliGerBrap just god routed it. And there's a big sigh from BurtReynoldz, getting the ruby off the robot. Ruby's nice. It leads us to 2 key items, one in the Titan's Trove, one at Sarda, both of which could be required. Neither of which could be required if it's the Opal Bracelet and Power Bonk.
Yeah, so we absolutely have a Fitbit seed here. It's around the world, over and over and over again, trying to get their steps in. No flying allowed.
Awesome. I've never heard that. That's pretty good. So the FFR walking challenge. And the bottle. Ugh.
So the bottle, of course, not available until after we get that floater, so that's not making anyone happy, because by the time you have that floater, you're feeling pretty good about everything here, and that's an easy turn-in. But for now, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, so this, I don't know if there was a good way to route this. I think they're both doing a decent job with routing the seed that's in front of them, but this is, like you said, this is just forcing you to go everywhere. I know last year's spring tournament theme was Sail the High Seas, but last year also had extended open progression, so we could get in the airship without the canoe. This year definitely feels more of like a Sail the High Seas.
So AliGerBrap here is going to be picking up his ruby, I would guess, as well as his rod, depending on if he checks that on-rack shop.
He will. Yeah, he's going to do the caravan
yeah, he's
first.
Doing caravan, so he's remembered, and he'll definitely check that out.
I was going to say, another one of the hallmarks of last year's spring tournament was Swiss had Town Shuffle. So, in Town Shuffle, you got to route in your town checks first. So, because you're looking for a vendor item, you're looking for Crescent Lake, and you're looking for Provoca. So, AliGerBrap knows the importance of checking shops, yes, and there he is with the rod play.
Yeah, and I would expect an easy waterfall right after this, so he'll be retreading the same ground that Burt.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the Ruby, definitely looking like our best chance of progression here, unless, as you said, we have a loose item in Earth.
Yeah, and I like Burt coming up to do ordeals before going up to Earth and turn the Melmon continent to turn in that ruby, just in case this is herb or crystal, and it's something that we have to turn in at the inner sea anyway. So we know that it's not gonna be, but Burt doesn't know that.
That sage disappearing reminds me of one of my favorite for fun flags, the NPC guillotine.
Oh, NPC guillotine's so good. It needs to be in the... Ooh, Burt checking the often skipped mud gold tile that protects the linked chest here and ordeals, and finds heirs with damage poison. that is good information to have, as that is an enemy that we'll see in the Sky Cave and potentially in the Temple of Fiends Revisited.
I hate pulling airs in Topher. I feel like no enemy wipes me at the worst time more than airs. That's not a boss,
Yeah.
obviously.
Airs innately have pretty good evasion, so like, and I always feel like they always roll up, and they have good base HP, so their HP I feel always rolls up, and it's just they're evasive. They have high HP. They don't really have an elemental weakness. You're just bleh.
Punching at air?
Yeah, gasping, grasping at air. Yeah. And Medusa's was Blizzard, so Burt getting the business here in Temple of Ordeals that AliGerBrap, I mean, for all we know, just was in and out.
Yeah, definitely made up a little bit of time here, AliGerBrap, on the Ordeals check. I wouldn't say that they're ahead or behind, but just definitely got through a little faster. But that is a fast maze.
Yeah.
So as they retread ground now, so as we were saying, basically we have the Ruby turn-in, which will be coming up shortly on either player's screen. They're probably going to be doing it actually around a similar time. I think Burt will get there just a little bit before Ali. And then after that, depending on where that leads, we're looking at an Earthplay, it looks like, or whatever that turns up.
Jet, I'm not a natural gloater, but if this is nothing, this Ruby turn-in, and it's just like loose floater in the top of Earth, my brain. Because
my brain is so large.
I definitely have noticed a trend that if you're given, because Rod is essentially early here. We didn't have to dig for it. It was, right here in a shop. So early Rod, I feel like, lends itself to an Earth Cave. And I've seen so many of these Swiss flags roll a loose into Earth that it's almost... I know Sky has the chest density, but I have seen more loose items show up in Earth than in Sky. I've seen better gear show up all the time in Sky. Like, that's usually where your Mossas, your ribbons, your Vorpals, all that white shirt, all the in-game equipment that you want usually shows up there, but it's in Earth, man, I'm telling you.
For all your talk of running rolling jet seeds here, this is most certainly not one of them. We are 1 hour in, no floater, no massa, no ribbons, no loose items. This is looking like a tough one here.
We do have an orblet. We do have a lot of our key items checked, like our key item locations checked. Like, all we need for go mode is Oxyel and Chime, and if that's in the Titan's Trove and Sarda, like, then we're good. It'll be a loose floater. It'll be a loose tail, or not necessarily loose. It'll be a loose floater for sure, and tail or power bonk or opal behind the slab. And oop, gotta reset again. Don't want to start over, Burt. But yeah, this is a big check here for Burt going up to the Melmond continent.
Yeah, I find that these seeds really can roll all over the place depending on what you're getting. I think I saw a seed the other day where it was the mythical canoe and floater on King and Sarah. So
oh yeah, that's yeah. that is a very different feeling seed than what we're looking at right now. If anything, I feel like that. So what we see in the early game with a lot of the overworld checks, like going to Marsh, walking around, doing all these box checks, looking for the canal, it forces us to take fights and get levels. Like, we usually get to level 10 to 15 before we leave the Intercontinent. If you get the floater potentially, like, off Bicky, and like Bicky, Princess, and the King, like, you get Canoe Floater amongst those three, and you're in the air at like the level 4, it becomes very challenging to figure out where you're going to go, because you got to go somewhere that level 4 can get in and out of, they can take down fights. So it sort of makes the routing a little trickier, and unless you've had that happen to you a number of times, it can be overwhelming. You can be overwhelmed with choice because all of a sudden you're level 4 and the whole game is in front of you.
So Burt finding the herb, so we're just continuing on this little fetch quest merry-go-round.
Yeah. Now, if the Titan's Trove is the floater, Burt might feel a little bad. I like to check this box first, even though we don't have warp, just because it is a little quicker to fly back to Sarda. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Ooh, man, this is looking mean. So we have one last shot with the herb to find
the crystal?
Yeah, so if the herb is the chime, then we could be looking at something where we're not going to be on a big loose hunt.
Oh,
but if it's not...
You mean floater in sky?
Yeah. But if it's not, this is going to be interesting. So yeah, definitely some hopes resting on this herb right now.
Yeah, and I like Bert's going to do the NRC check just in case it's floater. He's right here. He can just walk through the Southlands to get there. And if it's crystal, he can just sail up. I like doing the NRC check here. And classic gamer in chat. Calling for the herb to the crystal to the power bonk. Yeah, power bonk, less than ideal here with the black belt. We're not really going to need it. It's something we could put on our red mage, but Burt down to... I wonder if Burt's going to stay black belt red for a while.
It's looking like it.
I know this is a party comp that he talked a lot about and practiced a lot. So this two-man is a party that he's comfortable with.
Getting those early levels really does make a two-man so much safer.
Yeah. And here we go. PowerPoint says...
Oh, man.
He resets out and is probably mad at me. Burt, you've raced my seeds before. You know it's an Earth, buddy.
So, Caleb enjoys how large his brain is. For those of you who are a little bit less familiar with this, what this means is that we have a guaranteed mandatory loose item.
Yeah.
And at this point, it can either be the chime, the floater, or the crystal, which leads to one of those two.
Or potentially the Oxyale.
Oh, yes, the Oxyale as well.
Yeah. But if it's Oxyale, then we know the other loose is either here in Earth or in Sea Shrine. So... Because the chime will have a... If it's chime, like that's probably best case scenario because we do have an incentivized box in the Sky Cave, which we talked about. But, ooh, buddy. And we got ex-Russian Bishop joining us in chat. How's it going, buddy?
Go Burt, go Burt.
Nothing doing top Earth. Let's go a little deeper. We are doing pretty well, Russian Bishop. We're calling this race, and there's a loose chime in Earth. Burt, you're welcome. My galaxy brain, so big.
So at this point, he's probably going to just finish us off here. He's got the rod. There's no reason to leave.
Mm-hmm. Especially if there's two loose here. I know we saw in week 2, I believe it was, in the Gregory Puff Cyranus match, there was a race that I didn't roll the seed in. Cyranus checked the top box there where Burt found the chime, and then came in here and checked this other box, and between the two found both loose items where Gregory Puff only checked the top box and proceeded to skip these bottom 3, and it ended up costing him that race. So
ooh, that's rough.
Yeah.
So semi-stable mentioning in chat that floaters required since we still need 2 key items. That's not quite true. Because this is Sky Week, that chime actually unlocked our final known incentive location, and if that contains the Oxyale, then we won't be needing another loose item here.
Yeah, and that would mean either bottle or slab turns to opal bracelet or power bonk. So until we find one of those loose, then yeah.
Now
we could be dealing with a floaterless seed.
That being said, it absolutely could be the Power Bonk or the Opal Bracelet in Sky, and then we will have a loose floater for sure.
Yeah, and to give shout out to Edgeworth, one of the veterans of the community, not participating in the tournament playing, but participating on the commentary side, and he's done a lot of these pickup races that we do on the Discord, and he just always kind of grumbles at me when Fluter rolls loose, and he's just like, Caleb, it happened again.
Oh, my apologies, Semi.
Yeah. So, loose chime and Earth. Ali's gonna get there. He's gonna turn in the herb here. And Burt took a wipe, it looked like, on the those glance paralisks. So until we find a we're getting and we're walking out. Okay. Don't want to go any deeper.
That's an interesting play at this point. I guess he's a little low on... I guess he just wants to know for sure what the situation in Seed is and knows he could just go about this dungeon later, now that he's done most of the checks.
He might feel a little behind too. There might be some uncertainty with AliGerBrap just because Ali, like I said, the only tape that you have to watch on him is the first 3 weeks of the tournament.
Yeah.
And Burt might not know if Ali comes to Earth early, because we had access to that chime from the minute we walked out of the volcano. So if he routed this in just like when we were checking Melmond, Ali could feasibly have that chime. It looked like he did just get out, save it, and he's coming back. He's do the dungeon in front of you, clear out the boxes. Yeah, this is the smart play. It's the...
And I like this play. At this point, like, you know, one of the big time saves is first floor Earth if you can skip that, but at this point he's already cleared so much of it that just finishing it off is not going to cost him that much more time versus coming back here, even if he's flying and go boating this dungeon.
Yeah, because the bad feeling is being like, okay, either I just go mode and I skip these boxes and just get the orb lit, and then go full clear sky, get levels along the way, not find my second loose, and then be like, I gotta go back to Earth now. You know, but yeah, if Floater is in Sky, I think that's the best case scenario. Not that we want to promote, but it gives us more boxes to open. We're still looking for... It would be nice to have a white shirt to accent that defense sword. It would be nice to have a weapon for the red mage to swing. Just, I guess Ice Sword will work in case that black belt breaks down. Some ribbons would be nice to find. We haven't found one of them yet.
Yeah, considering how many boxes they've opened, they've probably opened roughly half the boxes in the entire seed. They have not found a single ribbon, a single, like, I guess an okay endgame weapon, but only after it's promotion locked.
Yeah.
In the defense sword. So it's definitely a rough situation equipment-wise. If I was on a fighter seed here, it would be extremely... I would not feel ready for Topher at all.
Yeah. Well, we found at least some armor. Like, I think we found some flame gear, stuff like that. But yeah, having just Ice Sword and well, there's ice armor. I mean, that'd be pretty good. But yeah, this is
zero ribbons is rough.
Yeah, 0 ribbons and no access to wall. And AliGerBrap gonna grab his chime. Be pretty happy to see that.
Yeah, classic gamer. I agree. Ice Sword will work. Sun Sword is better. Massa is ideal. And he is partially on Team Vorpal.
Oozes with Thunder. That's a SpaghettiOs.
Oh, gets the run.
I mean, with Temper at level 1, Fast at level 2, Ice Sword will work for sure. Like, we have the defense sword just to use to get evasion cap. Like, we can funnel some stuff into that red mage to get him pretty good.
Burt showing us there just how nice it is having that heal available. Just, you know, quickly couple spams of that, back up to good health, and back to exploring the dungeon.
Yeah. So you gotta love the loose chime funnel that gets everybody into the Earth Cave. because no matter what week it is, Earth is required.
So we have a black shirt on Bert's side. Not that big of a deal here. The white shirt is almost always more useful in the end game, at least.
Well,
But
black
still
shirt,
a nice line.
yeah, black shirt I like if we have a lot of ribbons and we have a black mage. So the black shirt, other than casting Ice 2 as an item magic, it also has the same level of absorb as a gold bracelet. I think it has a slightly better evasion rating too.
That's correct.
And it gives us resistance to the ice elemental and to time. Time being the biggest element there, because the black shirt is the only item that grants us resistance to time except the ribbon. And we only are going to have at most 3 ribbons. So if you're running a 4-person party, you had 3 ribbons, you wanted to be immune to zap, the black shirt's the only way you're going to get there across the board. So I like the black shirt a lot.
Of course, that is depending on if we find this floater here.
So just the 1 loose in Earth, but we'll get an orblet here. And Burt has got to be thinking, okay, floater is in sky, because of course it is. I'm going to go there. Where am I getting my levels? Because at this point we're entering the end of the second act of this race, right? Like we have basically everything kind of narrowed down where everything should be. We got to start making our in-game preparations, and for the black belt, that's levels. So we had a couple decent grinds, but I'm curious to see if he'll just double down on that rock goals in Northwest, because it's right there. 2-person from like mid-20s to 32 shouldn't take too long, especially because they were like falling to a nuke. So
we also have a few sky spike tiles to check, as well as just the walk and grind on sky. It's also always nice to get at least a few levels there.
Yeah, there's actually just the 1 spike tile in sky. And uh-oh, I missed what happened. But Burt onto solo black belt. Something took out his red mage. Trolls with glance would have turned him to stone. It must have been glare. So glare through a pro ring doesn't feel great. And focusing on punching, we got to get those defenses. Oh. And a wipe to Lich 1, and here comes AliGerBrap. So Burt will have to come back here, but he's got his chime. AliGerBrap rolling in all 4 light warriors up, should be able to light this, and this will give him about a 3 to 4 minute lead over Burt.
Yeah, so shout out to all those people who say don't disrespect Lich.
Yeah.
Lich can bite back if you're a solo black belt.
Yeah, solo black belt, and Lich has a second skill, Blaze. That'll ruin your day every time.
Meanwhile, AliGerBrap getting it done pretty easily. Nuke.
Yeah. And it's time to go to Sky. I imagine we might stock up en route, pick up some houses, because we're probably going to attack this Mirage Tower in stages. Might do Mirage 1, walk out, drop a house. Mirage 2, depending on what we find, walk out, drop a house, and then climb.
So what are AliGerBrap's levels looking like right now? The last time I checked, they were around 16 or so.
They're a little more even. So, whereas Burt's levels are mostly funneled into that black belt red mage. But we'll get a good look here next time he goes into his menu.
Yeah, we haven't really seen a serious grind on either side. So as you said, as we enter kind of the approaching endgame, we're gonna have to see that decision. Oh, and Burt?
He's doing it. He's gonna go take those red Ds. I think that's what it was.
How high do you go here? That's the question.
I think, yeah, you switch your party around like this, and you unequip everything. You don't have to worry about dropping their HP to a certain point, but you just have these black mages cast nukes, so they're getting secondary levels as they're getting punched down, and then I think you have to go to 42 just in case. So I mean,
Yeah.
this is a free grind, and we're gonna get. Okay, so they're not quad Xable out the gate, so they're probably just over 300 HP. It looks like they're between 300 and 330 HP.
Yeah, if I'm Burt here, I'm definitely feeling a little bit behind after that, especially after that Earth Wipe. So
Yeah.
I think he might be banking on a tough Topher here, and then therefore going to grind that black belt up now, saying, look, I might not get there first, but if they're taking a second run at it, and it's that difficult, I'm gonna make sure that I have this.
Yeah, and the Topher is, or the black belt here, at the very least it's to 32, because that way your black belt with fast and temperate level 2 and 1 respectively, you're gonna be able to one-shot Sky, you're gonna be able to one-shot C, and if that Oxyale is in Sky, like, you're golden. You know, like
Absolutely.
we said, like, he might even skip boxes just to get up there, see what's in there. Like, he might check Mirage 1, might skip less than greater than. But it's gonna be interesting. We already got one mage down, so we're getting there. And
AliGerBrap
yeah.
just restocking.
Yeah, picking up those gold bracelets, the pro rings. You can see he's equipping stuff onto that black belt, which is fine. I mean, pro ring and gold bracelet, that's going to get us up to about 32 absorb. So until that black belt's 32, it's better for him to have that equipment on. So heads up play there. It also gives him the death resistance from the pro ring.
Yes, building your own ribbons is always fun.
Oh yeah, it's just a shame you can't do it. Like, the best you can get is the fighter.
Yes, with 6?
Yeah,
or
it's
7 of
with
the resistances?
6, because
6, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't resist. Maybe it's 5. So it's Earth. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Ice, Fire, and Lightning for the Dragon armor.
Dragon.
You get the Opal, or the Stone Poison, which is just one element from the Aegis Shield, and Death from the Pro Ring. So you can't get Status, Earth, or Time.
Right. So yeah, 5 classic gamer coming in clutch as usual, confirming our musings.
Yep. I was just
BurtReynoldz
memeing, letting us know that door's locked. He got shut in with the blue Ds.
BurtReynoldz is going to continue to grind here. Meanwhile, we have a Tyrell on AliGerBrap's side as he approaches Mirage Tower. So as you said, looking like if I was in this position, I would definitely be doing a multi-stage entrance, especially depending on what we're finding in the early Mirage floors.
And what Burt might be doing here is going to 32 on both, because that will get the red mage the HP to eat to survive a nuke, and he might stick to 2-man. And yeah, now that the black belt's one-shotting it, I would probably throw that red mage up front just to get rid of it and start funneling that XP in, because now, yeah, if we're one-shotting it, we should be down here with the red mage. That red mage should go to sleep.
Oh, Burt. Is he just going out to house, or is he going out for...
Yeah, he ran out of nukes. So nothing Mirage 1. I do like that Ali's taking these fights. There's a lot of good XP to gain here in Mirage Sky, and you can't gain it if you're not killing it.
Absolutely. And at this point it's looking, you know, well, not increasingly, but there's a good chance that we're in a floaterless scenario here, if it does end up being Oxale here.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to want to make sure they're getting some levels.
Yeah, because it almost has to be either Oxyale or... Yeah, it has to be either Oxyale or Floater, because there's no other boxes to open unless it's also loose here in Sky.
Yes. Though AliGerBrap does not know that. They're still at the back of their head, just hearing Caleb mentioning marsh, marsh, marsh.
That's true. That is true.
So yeah, there we go. Getting out, saving, not finding much, but on to floor 2. Greater than, less than.
Question from Ragnarok 781 or 784: was there anything in Marsh? Not really. BurtReynoldz went there. He tried to metagame the Caleb seat, but it was Earth. It's either Earth or Marsh every time.
Unfortunately, if you pick both, it doesn't turn out as well as if you Galaxy Brain the right one.
Yeah, you gotta choose one.
I believe the pick of the litter in Marsh was a defense sword.
Was that where that was?
Maybe someone in chat can remind me if there was anything else in Marsh.
If it was in Marsh, it had to been Marsh top, because I know Burt reset out of Marsh bottom.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. No, it wasn't there.
So, yeah, I thought it might have been an ice cave or one of the key locks.
Yeah, it was around that time that we found that. That's the only thing I can remember. Once again, we're still not looking at. There's been no gear that I've really seen that's been like, wow, that's one of the key items that I'm looking for the end game.
And that red mage finally has 400 HP, so that will survive a max roll. Well, it won't survive a max roll nuke just yet. It'll just be just enough to make us mad.
Ragnarok bashing that Canadian internet. Now, there's other Canadians here as well, and my voice is coming through just okay.
All right, less than, greater than.
There we go.
There's our first ribbon. Gotta love it.
Now, as you were mentioning earlier, the ribbon's not quite as essential when your primary damage dealer is a black belt, but absolutely for that red mage, it can be essential, especially when it's your life caster here to get through in something like a 4-person party, which is what AliGerBrap's looking like they're going to run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 100% essential to stay on that red mage until chaos. And then once we're on chaos, it's going on that black belt, because you do not want your main melee dealer to get zapped or cracked or any other mess. So, those guards rolled low. That's a really good XP fight for Ali here.
Nice, almost 4,000. And okay, looking at like level 22, 23 here, so not bad levels. Not black belt levels, but for the mages and everything like that, they're getting to a decent spot now. And not saving out of there with the ribbon, so going straight up to the Sky Cave.
Alright, so it's a little risky, but it's, saving us some walking.
Yeah, I think saving out a Mirage 1 is almost always done. Saving out a greater than, less than without exit or warp is a little bit more time consuming, because you gotta walk all the ways around, all the ways back, all the ways back up.
Yeah.
Have you seen what level Burt's getting up to now?
I think he's high 20s, so it's getting to be decision time for Burt. As Ali skips Sky 1, we're going right for the incentive box. Scared me for a second. I thought he was going to walk past it. 32.
I've got to know what is in that incentive box.
What's in the box? And
so this is not, quite Warmech time, but this is Bless RNGs for that Opal Cheerio if you want to see the seed go for a while, and we have the floater.
So, loose Oxyale, either in Sky, and we're skipping boxes, so it's either Sky, bottle. Well, yeah, it's true. So it's either bottle or slab or loose. So
correct.
Skipping boxes. That's spoopy scary.
So Ragnarok asking in chat, slab turn in. So they do have the slab and the bottle. So those will be probably the first 2 checks right after that.
It is the casino theme. He's taking a gamble here. And Burt's happy. He's gonna... Yep, he's bringing people back to life. He's 32. That's good enough for him.
Yeah, and I think that's a reasonable play here. He feels behind, so he doesn't want to be multiple Topher dives behind. Although he knows his opponent at some point is most likely going to have to be doing this black belt grind, unless he's going to bet on a, nuke first, ask questions later Topher.
Ooh, those whiz vamps rolled very high.
Gets out. Ooh, sees him again. Okay, gets the first one down, and second, there we go. Does it, gets out unscathed-ish. And
Alright.
get your blessed RNGs out in chat as we are on the Bridge of Destiny. Hope for the robot friend.
I mean, Ali wants to see him. That's a grind right there.
Oh yeah.
And with fast and temper, the 24 black belt should be able to take him down.
Also, as we were mentioning before, having that lock 2 in your back pocket is going to save him from that, and not make sure you don't have to burn all your nuke charges. So at this point, probably not saving them for Tiamat too much more either. We both saw that screen flash, and
yeah. Well, I don't think the encounter table is kind of friendly. It's not. I don't think we've seen like a back-to-back encounter, so he should be good here. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of talk about encounter tables and encounter table manipulation. Actually, we'll talk about this after we get through.
Yeah. Let's see what Tia 2's got. I think we're gonna go full Brack strats here. No, we're out of Brack, so we're gonna fast that black belt. We're gonna nuke, and we got 5 nukes on Kirk. So yeah, that's our strategy to win here. 5 hits, 141. Fire 2, minor inconvenience, but we got a ribbon. Burt resetting back to checks Mirage 1. Gonna be thorough. And here come the Bracks. Second Brack gets it done.
There's a reason why Brack the Crack is a well-known phrase here. I believe it's about 25%.
It's something like that. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it might be closer to like 1 in 6, but it's still really good.
Yeah, so definitely a legitimate strategy against Kraken, Tia 1.
Yeah, so
Kraken and Tia 1.
Yeah, Tia actually has the weakness to the Stone Poison Elemental, and Kraken is just super low magic defense. So, yeah. Just as likely to get hit by Brack, but just super low magic defense.
Meanwhile, trying that on Kraken 2 or Tia 2 is definitely a little bit riskier. You're looking at a much lower percentage play there, so that's usually more of a desperation.
Yeah, I think it's a 6% chance on the Fiends Revisited.
And then on Chaos, it's the 2 and 2.
Yeah, the 3
like,
3 and 256. Basically a 1% chance. Slightly better than a 1% chance.
So, oh yeah, we've seen it happen. It does happen. I mean, everyone has seen a seed where it's that Bane, Sword, and Prey against Chaos when you're one manning with all the defense in the world but nothing else. And 1 hour and 32 minutes into this seed, we are in the air.
We did it.
This is not a King Sarah canoe floater seed. We are not in the air in 1 minute. We are in this air at 1 hour and 32 minutes. And Burt will be following up probably in another 5 or 10 minutes.
Where are you going,
Probably
Ali?
5.
Ali just excited to be in the air, just flying around, the wind in his hair.
I assume he's looking for Gaia? Where?
He flew right over Lefane. I'm not sure where you're going either, Ali.
Pull up the Nintendo Power.
I wonder if there's oh, gotta go to Melmond, yeah. Wait, get translator slab. All right.
I think he's already translated.
I think we're a little maybe tilted, maybe feel a little bit. We're gonna promote.
Ooh, this is a risky play, I would say.
He's gonna sacrifice a lot of magic defense on that black belt. I think he. Did we see something at level 6 that was really nice for that? I think we saw, was it Life 2?
There's a life 2 that was Red Wizard learnable.
Yeah, that's got to be more important to him than MDef at this point, because I guess he's thinking he'll put the ribbon on the black belt when it comes to it. So it's not, and we'll get to equip the black shirt. Like, it's a play.
It is a play, and I guess there's also warp available now, though there's not really any benefit of it. You know, they've already passed by everything that is of any major, you know, where warp is going to be especially useful.
Yeah.
Oops.
It's a bold strategy from Ali. See if it pays out for him.
And now I'm assuming we're going to see that Gaia and Slab turn in.
Well, I wouldn't chat saying that warp is useless now. I wouldn't say that it's useless. I think that if we come up against it in Topher and we want to take a grind in Topher, warp will help get us out of there.
Yeah, it's warp has always, you know, limited utility, even if you're just grinding on a tile and then, as you said, you want to get out of there.
Little micro optimizations. And Burt gonna check these greed chests here.
Oh, white shirt?
Yeah, and a Bane sword. Wonderful greed chests. Especially right before Tia.
Yeah, I love to see white shirt. I think just the defensive strats for some reason just call to me, so whenever I can just have someone invis 2 up right away for free, I will always take it.
Okay. Crystal. Crystal from the bottle.
So would you do Lefane here first?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to.
And then, because it gives us information, that especially if it's Oxiel, then we know that the that crystal's going to be either Opal Bracelet or Power Bonk, and that's something that we pick up right before Topher.
Yeah. I really do like the Opal Bracelet on the Red Mage here. It really does make a big difference. But and once again, go ahead.
Bridge of Destiny. It's time. Maybe Burt will see it. Burt taking fewer account, like taking a different route through Sky. Yeah, so we're seeing errors. So there we could. Ooh, errors with Brack. Yikes. Uh-oh.
Ooh, more errors.
Oh, no. Both runners getting 2 encounters on the Bridge of Destiny. Let's see how he attacks this Tia. We're going... Just dumping everything into that black belt. Fast gets good turn order. And... Brack's not working. And it looked like Opal Bracelet was the slab turn-in.
Yes, that is correct. So it's either crystal or it's loose, and that will definitely make AliGerBrap not be happy here.
Because he skipped a lot of boxes in Sky. And so did Burt. Oh. Hot!
Oh!
So Burt gets Tia 1 down. Both runners...
you know how to roll them.
Both runners with their air orb lit. I guess you go to Cardia and just hope that it's there, right?
I think at this point you have to. Now, knowing what we know with you know, our quote-unquote God vision, looking at both of them,
it's either Sky or Cardia.
Yeah, I think you have to do Cardia first here. I agree.
And Ali, what are you doing, buddy? Where are you gonna go? You're looking. I think both of our runners feel remarkably behind. You can see the nerves here in Ali's routing. You can see him here thinking, where do I go? Where do I go? Vendor item was the Rod, Ragnarok, For Sale, and Onrak. Alright, Ali, you gotta go back to Sky or you gotta do the Cardias.
So Burt, meanwhile, translating his slab, and he's going to be doing a very similar route to what AliGerBrap just did.
Yep. So Ali skipped boxes, I guess, in Earth. We know that it's not here.
This is an interesting decision. I think, given how free the Cardia Isles are, and actually at this point there's probably a similar number of chests there.
Yeah.
Now, you know, if this was Burt and he was the one who had skipped chests and he hadn't gotten his Earth Orb lit yet, maybe you go back. But I think
Yeah.
this is a definitely a big time loss here.
Yeah, it'll cost him a couple minutes. I'd imagine he'll finish. It might just be. I wonder which boxes he skipped.
I think when you're feeling so behind, though, like, I can understand this decision. Like, you're feeling behind, you're like, oh no, is that box that I skipped the problem one? And those boxes just weigh in your head, right? You can't stop thinking about them. All your focus is on them. When you're like, this has to be the Oxale, this has to be the Oxale, and then it's not, and then you are like, oh no.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Because if it's obviously it's not here on Earth, but I would imagine Burt will do Cardia first. And if it's not in Cardia, we might see both of our runners going to Sky at the same time. So we might have a foot race here that Burt's eventually going to have to go back to Earth. Anyway, so the chest that Ali's checking here, you're right, it's a time loss now, but with Burt still having to come back to Earth, it's not too much more of a time loss.
No, absolutely not. I mean, when you compare where the two races are at, I think it's extremely equal. It's just if AliGerBrap didn't make this play, he could have a little bit more time.
Somebody needs to explain to Ragnarok that you can't check TFC without the Oxyel, and we're looking for a loose Oxyel, bud. Alright. BurtReynoldz gonna find these Lefinians down here just eating some Cheerios. They're just eating their cereal.
So while these guys are checking chests, if you want to, you know, figure out more about things like the TFC, feel free to take a look at our Discord. There's tons and tons of great resources there. Personally, like, the resource page has been invaluable to me learning better routes, getting some help from a bunch of experienced vets. So definitely come check it out and get involved. I think you can go, you know, whether you want to race, whether you want to comm, whether you want to track, or just play for fun. I think there's something for everyone there. So come take a look.
Absolutely. And if anything, you can come there and you can get hit with the spectator roll, and you'll get notified whenever there is a restreamed race. Alright, so Burt doing the percentage plays here. You're gonna gamble, stick with your gamble. There's a mage stick. A little bit of money. Uh-oh. Little bit of money. Little baby money. There it is.
Ah, there it is.
Check out the big brain on Burt. Getting that Oxyel out of the Cardias. Can wipe the sweat from his brow. He does not need to go back to Sky. So now
1 hour and 41 minutes into the seed, we have go mode. Also all key items, but go mode.
Yeah. So I think Ali, as he's coming through here, one of the things that, like, going back to a dungeon you've been to, at least I've found, is you can kind of reflect on what you've done and sort of breathe a little bit. Like, okay, now I know I can just reset. So I remembered while I was doing that I forgot to do Cardia. Let me go do Cardia now.
Yes,
So,
and that looks like what he's doing. I was very worried with that, you know, that he might have turned to Marsh, but he luckily did not.
yeah. And, okay, perfect. So we're going to have... I still like Ali's chances here, because we're going to see the rest of Cardia. And if we find Masa or another ribbon in these other boxes... Sunsword, there we go.
Sunsword?
That could be the difference maker right there. Our red mage now has a weapon that they can swing that we don't have to take off the black belt. Because we want that black belt to hold on to that defense sword if possible.
So let's take a stock here. So what we're looking at here is AliGerBrap missing the grind that Burt's done, so he does not have nearly as strong of a black belt, but has a slightly better equipped red mage, and critically has that earth crystal lit. Burt, on the other hand, getting into sea a little bit earlier, but still having to go back through Earth, and Earth can be a painfully slow dungeon to do.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's going to get the Oxyel here, and he's going to be right by... I should have marked the time where Burt walked in, but it's probably, what, a minute, 2 minutes ago? So, like, we'll say roughly a 140 mark. He's going to be about 4 minutes behind. That's about a walk through Earth. So there it is. Happy birthday, Ali.
So yeah, at this point, it really depends on if Topher, how easy is Topher here?
And he's promoted, so if he gets that life too, that's survivability through Topher, even at the lower levels. So
Yeah,
I could see it happening.
At this point, I can't imagine Burt, he has to feel behind. You're
Yeah.
1 hour and 44 minutes into the seed, and you have 2 orbs lit. So
Yeah.
I can't see him spending the time to go promote. He's done his grind. He's gonna say, you know what, this black belt can carry me through. So it's definitely gonna be a tale of 2 different ideas.
Yeah. And with the loose and Cardia, it is a 100% floater required seed, which is always fun to see when Opal and Powerbonk fall behind Gaia and Lefane. So still can be Topher floater required. So here comes Kraken 1. Fast tempers and a nuke. What?
There was Kraken 1.
Yeah, Kraken apparently rolled way down, so if that's an indication of anything to come, Topher might not be that bad.
Public service disclaimer: the Fiends 1 and 2 has no relevance whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So Ragnarok pointing out that Kraken just explodes. There was just a pinata of Kraken 1. And a bunch of kids already took a bat to it, so he's kind of loosened up a bit.
So any jabs at Burt can be sent to his Twitch, where, when he dies to Lich, but blows up Kraken.
So Burt just picked up the Vorpal in the free chest there. That could be a difference maker here too, in case something bad should happen to that black belt on Kraken 2, on Tia 2. That red mage can now fast himself, temper up that Vorpal, and get through the fight. So if BurtReynoldz' black belt gets blown up, all he has to fall back on is nuke.
Yeah,
Ali can switch melee strats here.
Yes.
So
the Massa's still eluding us, but Vorpal, for all its haters, can definitely be a good backup here.
Yeah, and I mean, with temper at level 1, and Powerbonk, so Vorpal on its own isn't going to do it unless we have like a high level knight. Vorpal with some buffs into it, gonna be real good. So Ali with the Vorpal, I like it.
Chat pointing out that perhaps I think Burt might have picked it up as well. It was just basically in a free greed chest, so...
Yeah. If he didn't pick it up, I think that's an indication of how behind Burt feels. If he's skipping the boxes in what I like to call the bean room. Yeah.
Oh. There is a vampire. Oh! No, he's not going to survive.
Vampire said, "Please don't nuke me." And he's like, "I found a ribbon, so I'm going to nuke you." Oh, okay.
And there was a vampire.
Yeah. He's just trying to... The librarian vampire just trying to shush us.
So yeah, here we go. AliGerBrap just cleaning up C, about to finish this off, do final preparations. We'll see if he I don't think he picked up that life 2 yet, so we'll see if he remembers or feels like he has time to pick that up.
And we'll see if Burt promotes too, because Burt in a better position to promote now too at 32. So
yeah, there's a 0% chance that Burt feels like he has time to do more grinding here, unless he wipes on Topher first.
Oh yeah, hour 47, lighting your 4th orb. You're just every time that there's downtime in combat, you're glancing at the SRL room. Why hasn't he finished? Why hasn't he finished? This bat's in my way. Why hasn't he finished? It's just you're paranoid. Like, oh my god, is something terrible waiting for me in Topher? Maybe I should stop and grind, because a grind now is going to save me time later.
Ooh. AliGerBrap trying to brack the crack, but getting backlined on that red mage. Yep, switching to backup strats here, saying, you know what, my black belt can do some work here.
Oh, but paying for not healing up those black mages, and now we gotta power bonk this black belt. Oh no!
Oh no!
So disrespecting Kraken 1 and not just going for the cheeky Brax. We know that it has 371 HP. We would have had simultaneous 4th orb lighting there. But Ali's got to walk back to the bottom here. Oh, wow. Huge. So both of our runners taking wipes on Fiends. Huge. So basically hour 49, Burt walking in. And chat pointing out, would have only taken 20 seconds to heal. You're not wrong. It's just when you are this late into the seed and it's almost 2 hours, like you feel behind, you start going fast, nerves kick in, and it's just, it's those things like when you go back and when you're coming back watching this VOD, you think about it and you're just like, I can't believe I didn't just spam heal 3 or heal 2 or whatever heal spell it was that they had. You know,
yeah,
those cure 3s, like.
If this is your early, sea dive at 45 minutes, that's an instant heal. But 2 hours, very different story.
Yeah. So, Burt making his way through Topher, not hitting a whole lot of unrunnables, just kind of cruising. I love the palette swap on the worms and the gray wolves or the frost wolves and stuff.
Did you see if he power cycled before he entered?
He probably did. I didn't note offhand, but I'm pretty sure he did. That's definitely something that Burt would do.
Yeah, okay. So we'll see if AliGerBrap does the same thing, because, yeah, this has definitely been a fairly good run so far.
So, question from chat from Irish Fox 13. Who's winning? I think we all are winning today, Irish Fox. There's a lot of FFR going on. There are 5 races starting at 9 p.m. and just a lot of fun action to watch. And currently this seed, Burt is in the lead. He is in the Temple of Fiends Revisited. Ali would have been holding hands with him, but got blown up by Kraken 1. So if something blows up Burt and Ali takes a second to prepare with a life purchase or something, this could be pretty good. All right.
Meanwhile, Burt respecting Lich 2.
Yeah, Lich 2 goes down for Burt. Lich 1 was a little bit tougher. Yeah, we had the 9 p.m. power hour. There were 5 races that started at 9 p.m. today. All across different channels on the different Randomanias. We had a couple being restreamed on private restream channels because we ran out of broadcast partners. There's a lot going on today, and AliGerBrap picking up that Vorpal again. Black Belt, we're going to get this done. Spooky goes down, so we have the life, but that's a lot of heal pots.
Meanwhile, Burt respecting carry,
Yeah, you got to.
And, ooh,
Okay,
that's a big hit.
That's why we grind the Black Belt. Black Belt's going to do Black Belt things and just go and blow stuff up. Blow stuff up with his fists. And here comes Ali looking for revenge on Kraken 2, or Kraken 1 rather.
So if I'm Burt, what am I scared of right now?
Kraken 2? Unrunnable.
The immediate next step.
Kraken 2 punching on that red mage. If that red mage goes down, we're in a okay, let's hope we can just overwhelm this Topher with fast and black belt.
Yeah. Because yeah, those black mages might not even survive a single cast of nuke.
And luckily, luckily though that seafood party pack rolled pretty low and all fell to a nuke, but chat calling for the airs with damage, poison, and brack, those could be bad. But I think Kraken 2 is the scariest, because if Kraken 2 rolls the all melee script amongst the final 5 bosses here, well it's technically 6 with Warmech included in that pool, there's typically one boss that will have only melee, it seems, and then there's a boss that will have only scripts. If they get like the Warmech script, they won't have spells, but they'll have 4 skills. And if that or the punch happy script lands on Kraken, this could be bad for Burt.
Absolutely.
If it targets that red mage. I mean, it would be bad for Ali too, but you know, Ali has that backup melee should the black belt get punched out. You know what I mean? With the red mage and the Vorpal sword and all those fast and tempers that we have access to, and the power bonk and white shirt and defense. Even though Ali doesn't have the white shirt, this is gonna be interesting. And you can see him kind of prepping, not equipping that Vorpal, leaving the flame sword. So I think we're just gonna come in here. We're gonna blow up Kraken with a bunch of nukes, and we're gonna blow up Kraken 2 with a bunch of punches.
So AliGerBrap healing this time before fighting.
Yeah.
Kraken.
Yeah, a second wipe here is critical, like critical time loss. At this rate,
meanwhile,
good.
Meanwhile, on Bert's side, we have white shirt and Kraken is punching. Takes out Spiky. Some more temper, some more fast, more white shirt. I expect to see this black belt punch. Yep, there we go. 534, 5 hits. So definitely a little bit of evade on this Kraken here, because I believe his fast did go off.
Yes. Oh no!
Oh. So the downside of only having one ribbon.
You want to talk about the spooky scaries? If Kraken punches here, and we don't know what happened because Bert's internet's spotty. Kraken fire 3 is okay. Whew.
Oh, and we saw a wipe on Bert's screen. We didn't see exactly what happened there, but based off the script, it was looking like a 50-50 style script, so it was probably a punch.
Yep. So, Ali, not far behind now. Black belt is about level 35. 35, yep. I believe it's hovering around that level, mid-30s. He went to 32 on a grind and took some, and here Ali comes, and Ali's gonna do his grind now on those Agamas.
Okay.
So, if he goes to 42 here, I don't hate it. He won't have the M-Def that the black belt would have had, but he will have the punches. Like, so if he goes to 42 here, this could be good. So
Hype's asking in chat if there's any wall, and the answer is there was a wall, but it was unfortunately not Red Mage learnable. Yep. Or Red Wizard learnable.
Yep, it was level 3, slot 4.
The most dreaded of early slots.
He is not level 42 on the Black Belt Irish Fox. The Black Belt's like 35.
So did this seed roll super tough enemies? Not particularly. Actually, most of the fiends so far have been fairly paper, but this Topher is never to be messed with. And in this case, we were talking about, some of the potential weaknesses of BurtReynoldz' party, and in that case, his black belt got punched, and he does not really have a secondary damage dealer.
So you want to talk about metagaming your opponent. We are coming up on 2 hours in. Burt probably feels behind because he's almost 2 hours in, and he just took a wipe to Kraken. So now he's like, I can't lose any more time. I just got to keep going. Ali in the same position, looking at the clock, knowing that his opponent's good, and is like, okay, if he hasn't finished yet, Topher's probably scary. I got to get this black belt up. So, and I wonder if Burt takes another wipe down here. If he doesn't now, then change his mind and go grind on those rock goals that we found, or those go back to those blue dragons. So
yeah,
it's one of those things. Like, yeah, you're trying to read the room.
If I'm Burt in this position too, another option would be to promote, get life 2, get a little bit more, maybe a few more levels on those mages, but especially on that red mage, just getting that extra promotion lock spell can make a big difference here.
Oh yeah, and Ragnarok, I forgot about the blue Ds at first because I was just thinking the rock goals was what he grinded very early to get through, like, to the early 20s, like high teens 20s was he took the rock goals. And I kind of like Ali's play here to take the results of the Kraken fight with the 2 downed black wizards and just rolling that into his grind here. Not having to worry about danning off characters. And is that it? Is he done? Did he hit 32? Or are we going out to heal?
He's going out for either heal or to get life.
Oh, we're buying magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge play here. All right. Go pick up those. I would pick up those black mages while we're there. All right. Burt approaching the gatekeeper. Trying to get this Kraken to hit .quit so they can. This gatekeeper choke for SRL. Alright, yeah, we're gonna use life 2 to pick them up. Okay. And then just burn off both of our houses and descend. Okay, so if Burt struggles here getting through, we're not gonna move our party around.
Yeah, but if Burt struggles here, I don't know if AliGerBrap's in much better of a position, honestly, than Burt is. I guess he has promotion, but I think that black belt was only level 30.
Yeah, if he takes fights getting through Topher, he could get to 32 easy enough.
Yeah.
I like putting the Vorpal on the Red Wizard here.
Yeah, the impact of an early level fast and tempers cannot be underestimated on getting almost anyone, but Red Wizard in this case swinging that Vorpal.
And he also has the black shirt on the Black Wizard, which will protect him against that zap. And if anything, it gives the Kraken another melee target to hit, but also another person to get another fast or another temper off and survive a little bit longer. So it's like a backup ribbon, and there's the zap, so only catches one this time.
Continuing with the temper fast strats.
Yeah.
Temper, punch, trying to take him out as fast as he can here. Still a little bit evasive. I think at this point a lock 2 would go a long way. I don't know if he has... Oh yeah, there we go. He's reading our minds. And lock 2 hits, temper goes off, perfect turn order here, assuming he goes before Kraken. There we go. There we go.
There's a big hit.
1900 damage.
So Falconic in chat pointing out the Vorpal just isn't good enough in the hands of the Red Wizard. I'd agree with that, but with all the fast tempers, power bonks, we have the defense sword. It's a viable melee strat if the black belt gets punched out. It's a backup strategy that AliGerBrap has in his pocket that, or I'm sorry, AliGerBrap has in his pocket that BurtReynoldz doesn't have.
Ribbing doing some work again as everyone gets muted, but the nuke still goes off.
Alright, let's see what Tia 2's doing. Oh, these vampires.
Oh, and another one.
Soaking nukes up.
And the worst part about this too is if a bunch of them cast mute, you just gotta watch it go mute. Inefficient.
Ooh, getting a validation check here. Just a little bit of money, but still neat to see. You don't see it very often.
So AliGerBrap not taking these fights. I think he's thinking that oh my goodness.
More
I think he's thinking that
vampires.
he'll get the levels off of the fiends for his black belt, which may be true, but it's gonna be a little bit tight.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see if AliGerBrap came in off a power cycle or not as well.
He's moving pretty good through these floors. This doesn't look like the encounter table that Burt had.
I agree. I think it's different. So, not necessarily going to hit that triple unrunnable Vamp Whiz-Vamp pack.
Alright, Tia 2. We're going to fast, we're going to white shirt, we're going to temper, and we're going to punch. Uh-oh. That didn't look like a whole lot.
I thought I saw 3 hits for 8 damage.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. High absorb, that sounds like a job for the Vorpal sword. And some lock 2s. High absorb, high evade.
Okay, so getting off 3 more tempers here. Oh.
Whoa. Tia punching. That's a problem.
Oh, PowerPoint. Oh, okay, we have a paper Tia 2 or a big punch there.
All right.
BurtReynoldz moving on to Chaos once he gets through a few more steps. Always fear these few steps.
This is going to be close. I mean, Burt's party is strong, but we're running out of nukes on these vampires. This is the 4th vampire fight. That's at least 8 nukes that they stole from us.
Meanwhile, AliGerBrap's just about to take on Lich 2 here. Respecting Lich.
Yeah.
So let's see if he moves the ribbon here.
You got to.
I would expect him to.
He didn't.
He does not.
This is a gutsy call here. We're gonna white shirt. We're gonna temper. We're gonna defense. Okay. Down goes the fast caster. White shirt comes off. Defense comes off. That black belt is halfway there. We gotta recast fast, and we're gonna defense again. And chaos with poison touch to add insult to injury. Here comes the fast. There's the defense. It's time to start punching. We got both. That's a good turn order. Both tempers come in before we get the punch off. 4 hits, 682. That's not good. That black belt should be getting 16 hits. No more tempers. Another punch. 3 hits, 719. BurtReynoldz takes it down. 2 hours, 4 minutes, 45 seconds. And an absolute slobber knocker, as they say. So get those GGs in chat. Let's see if we can get Burt in here to yell at me.
Man, that was a close one. That Chaos looked like it had just over 1400 health or so. Yeah. So not a high roll there. And Burt getting through, although it did look like a fairly high absorb, high evade Chaos. So not the easiest, just luckily it had no health.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't see anything other than like punches, so we don't know like what. We didn't see a whole lot of anything other than that zap here in Topher. We didn't see any of the zaps. Well, we saw the zap. I'm sorry, we didn't see any of the nukes, the nuclears, the slow 2, the cure 4. We didn't see anything. So not too shabby. No banes, no cracks, no tornadoes, no swirls, none of it.
Yeah, and I mean, like something like a zap there would have been absolutely terrifying, right? Without moving that ribbon over.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Life 2 does not do much in combat, so keeping that red wizard up, or red mage in this case up, not nearly as important after you get through the first 4 fiends. Looks like AliGerBrap continuing on here, about to face... Let's see. About to get onto the Gatekeeper that is Kraken 2.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like his black belt's 31, so should be okay by the time he gets to Chaos.
Yeah, it looks like BurtReynoldz walked away from his computer for a bit, so I'm sure when he comes back, he'll see my request for an interview.
Do you have the SRL time for that?
Yeah, it was 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 45 seconds. He said, be right in, he needs some coffee.
Oh man. I can't imagine what would be going through my head there if I go get into Topher at 155, wipe, get back in. Oh man, that would be a very, very tough seed.
So
but good mental composure.
Question from chat from Groggy Dog. Good to see you. What happened? So much. BurtReynoldz about to come join us in chat. We'll let him tell you about everything that happened. He's pouring his coffee. It was basically both loose were required. We had to dig out the canal and volcano. Everything else in the Inner Sea was fine, but we had to dig that out. Nothing in marsh, and then we found we did waterfall, we did ordeals, still couldn't find floater progression, and then because we had the canoe very early, but then we had level 2 life, level 6 life 2. We found the chime loose in Earth 2 because that's where it belongs. Floater incentivized in Sky, and then Oxiel loose in Cardia. So both loose required, floater required, all sorts of awkward routing. And BurtReynoldz joins us in chat. GG, Burt. That was
thank you.
That was a thing. How do you feel, man?
I heard you say awkward routing.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward routing. Yeah, just having like how, not that you routed it awkwardly, but just the way that the seed forced you to route it. You know, it wasn't, nothing about it felt intuitive. So, talk to me about how did it feel going through that?
Oh, that felt bad. I felt behind the whole time. I last location or close to last location everything.
Yeah.
But everything was just so far out of the way. I think I made a good decision to orphan a bunch of chests in the top of Sky, because I figured I had 3 more chests left, or 3 more checks after I got the floater. So I only had a 33% chance that the last loose would be required. I mean, it turns out it was required, but I wasn't punished.
Yeah. Yeah. Jet, ask Burt some questions. I'm gonna switch game audio over to
Yeah.
Ali.
Absolutely. So what was going through your head when you like hit that absolute wall of a Kraken 2? Like, were you debating, was it always just going to be go back, run it back, thinking that the 32 plus black belt would get it done, or was there any debate?
Kraken 2 hates me. Kraken 2 is always going to kill somebody. I'm always going to wipe on Kraken 2. But you like to have the black belt at 42, but I really didn't find a suitable grind for the black belt. Everything rolled up really tough. Like the Agamas were hitting 3 times. Those blue dragons were all right, but it was just very slow and they were doing a ton of damage to me. So I figured that with so many fasts and so many tempers, it wasn't really going to require that many levels.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I knew that after I saw his scripts and saw what he's going to do, instead of using any defensive buffs, I was just going to go in and go all out aggro, try and kill him before he gets all his big punches off. And it worked out.
Absolutely. And then I think that plan was totally reasonable, and obviously it did pay off here, but that's definitely a tough one. So the other question I had was, did you think about changing your ribbon on Chaos over to the black belt, or were you just trusting that magic defense there?
Yeah, because a ribbon on a red mage is full protection, whereas a black belt naturally is half protection. So if I put the ribbon on the...
Oh, looks like we might have just
So I was just playing the...
Yeah, you're cutting in a little bit. You're cutting it out a little bit, Burt.
Oh yeah, internet's still frozen up here. But
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, playing the odds there, we were just worried that if if a punch gets through or a zap gets through or something to that black belt, then what's the backup there? But I think that makes a lot of sense, and you played that Chaos fight really nicely. Things went pretty well for you, so that was really good. We have a question in chat. What are you looking for next week, Burt, for pairing? Anything you're scared of? Anything you want?
I haven't really been checking out. Did Ragnarok win? I think he did, didn't he?
We're not gonna spoil ongoing
no spoilers,
races, for current races, but yeah. So sorry, I didn't mean to just abruptly cut you off, but yeah.
Okay, I don't know how his race went, but if Ragnarok did win, I definitely want to battle him next.
So let me ask you this question, Burt. Next week, week 5 is Swiss. It's a random Fiend dungeon. What element do you want to see?
Anything but Earth. That's fine. I don't want to have to take a white mage. I don't want to double dip Earth.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about your early game routing. You got the canoe super early. You still went to Marsh. Was that a play because you were hoping it was going to be required and you thought Ali wouldn't go there, or were you going there because I roll garbage seeds and that's usually where it is?
It was sort of like I have a 10% chance that if I go there and Ali doesn't, I win the game.
Yeah.
So it's again like rolling a dice. If you roll a 1, you win.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out. But since I was over in that area anyways, I wanted to go over there to check Elox, and I had the key to fully clear Marsh anyways.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Burt found Validation Masa. What?
AliGerBrap.
I'm sorry, AliGerBrap. So on his first dive, checked validation right side. There was nothing there. Check validation left side. Gets Masa. Wow.
Wow.
Sorry, Burt. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I looked and I saw Masa on his screen. I was like, wait, what? So crazy. No one ever checks validation. I'm sorry, Bert. You're talking about the flags
Key
you're
locks.
looking in the key locks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Check
I
it
had the
first.
key, so I can full clear marsh. If there's nothing in there, I can reset. I only waste a couple minutes. I had some pretty good levels at that point after killing a couple blue Ds, so I didn't feel like I would have any trouble with marsh. So it felt like an easy check that gave me a 10% chance of just winning the game.
Yeah, and that's the way I look at it too. With the early marsh play, like you said, it's going to take you 5-6 minutes at the most without warp or exit, and if it's there, GG's. You know, you just bought yourself a 15-20 minute lead. I feel the same way about Earth, and it's like, to me, it's either a coin flip that it's going to be Earth or marsh that's required, and this time it was Earth.
Yeah, can we get someone to look in the code? Because it seems like every game I play, there's a loose in the top of Earth somewhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like no matter what Fiend Dungeon's incentivized, Earth is required.
Maybe I do want Earth Week.
Yes.
It'll give me a reason to go and get the loose out of Earth.
Yeah, because I think it was Thunder was like kind of tracking at least the first 12 to 20 races of Earth Week, and he was like all but like 1 or 2 had both loose and Earth, or a loose and Earth. And it's just wild how often stuff pops up in the Earth Cave. But AliGerBrap coming into carry 2. Searching for redemption. He's got the Masa. He's in a little bit better position than he was on his first dive. Also took the awkward wipe on Kraken 2. So I think the biggest difference here, well, you guys both almost lit your 4th orb at the same time. Ali was in Sea Shrine doing that and took a wipe on Kraken 1, which set him back until you guys both basically entered Topher right around the same time on your second dive, his first, and then he took the wipe on Kraken 2. But the biggest difference, I think, was the grind that you took on those the blue Ds.
Yeah, I did sort of a mini grind early.
Yeah, with the rock
and
falls.
I kept looking for a better grind, but just one never came up. So
Yeah.
I probably could have sequenced it a bit better if I'd done it half an hour earlier. Maybe I finished the seed 10 minutes quicker. I wouldn't have had so much trouble in Earth. Although all my trouble in Earth was because I never went and bought heal potion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pulled a Ragnarok. Saw you in chat there, Ragnarok.
So as AliGerBrap finishes up carry 2 here, I did have a question about the draft. So what were you thinking here? You picked black belt first. Was it just something that you've been practicing? What was going through your mind there?
I'm fairly comfortable with black belts, and I think that in a black belt lead melee carry, that I could probably outplay my opponent, and I don't mind grinding either. So if Ali did not pick a different melee carry, like if he had drafted fighter red mage after me, then we both just kill off our black belt and just play with a fighter.
Yeah.
But if he drafts mages, I draft a third mage, and I think I might have an advantage against an average opponent.
So,
At least that was the thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Bert, you move on to 2 and 2. We talked about it at the beginning of this race. This race was important because whoever loses this race, the best chance they have is the last chance qualifier. How important of it is it for you to avoid that at all costs?
Oh, really important. That last chance qualifier is not going to be easy to win.
Right.
There's not a lot of players out there who have a higher percent chance than average of winning like a 10 or 20 player tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. With the
I'm very glad that I won tonight. That's all I can say. And now I just have to win out. Might be tough facing some of this competition that's still out there.
Yeah. There's some sharks hanging out in the 2-1 pool that are looking to make it to 2. I'm sorry, that are looking to make it out of the because no one wants to be in 2 and 2 basically. It's super scary. Even the 3 and 1s are going to be scary. Like there's landmines all over the place with these pairings with how many runners we have signed up. It's just, I feel like whenever we look at the pair-ups on Mondays, and it's just like I look at the people in my bracket pool and I'm like, all right, there's like 12 people in here that I do not want to race at all. And there's like 1 to 3 people that I'm like, okay, I like my chances in a nasty race with you, because I don't like my chances in a jet seat with anybody. You know, but if it's nasty, if it's something dumb, locked and marsh, I like my chances against like 20% of the people or whatever. But
So AliGerBrap taking Kraken 2 for the second time here. Got immediately zapped. You know all about that. Burt taking down his top Black Mage, but looks like gets a big punch. Second Black Mage down. Going with the quad X strats, I thought I saw.
Yeah, cheeky quad X. That could get it done, and it does. So
and it does.
That's a heads up play. Ali, veteran guy, knows how the HPs can roll and when it's a good time to throw out a quad X. I don't like the not healing, and it looks like here's the insane encounter table, so he doesn't know that he's about to see 17 unrunnable vampire fights.
This is 5 unrunnables in a row.
Yeah. This is going to soak up all his resources, so he's going to got to stop and bring those black wizards back. Otherwise, this red wizard... he hit 32 on the master, so there we go. That's good enough.
Yeah, so he did decide to promote to get that life 2 on his red wizard. So these people will be back up. Or not.
I mean, this isn't... he doesn't know. He doesn't know that there's going to be 5. And at least he's punching the whiz vamp down with the master. The nuke is cleaning it up behind, so he's not wasting additional nukes from his other black wizards just in case turn order goes the other way, so this isn't terrible. But he's just going to be like, freaking vampires.
Yeah, he could be, Ragnar pointing out in chat, maybe he wants more levels on the black belt, but my goodness. He's got 2 more of these coming?
Yeah, and one's after the fight. Oh, he might have had a different step counter and might have 2 post Tio.
Yeah, I wasted 4 steps by misclicking. So I might have got 1 extra or 1 less, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, here we go. So we know Kraken 2 was basically the biggest problem we had. The rest of this should be fine. He doesn't have lock, so that is we talked about veteran players coming back to the community to play this game. We didn't really get a chance to brush on it with AliGerBrap. Last spring tournament, lock fixes were not a thing. Lock basically had the same chance to land as like Brack did. You know, it was a very low chance, and you were just as lucky firing off a Brack instead of lock. And then it wasn't even guaranteed to hit. So it's just, now with it being a guaranteed minus 20 agility, like, it's, wow, 16 hits, 24-35, black belt, so good. Yeah, so I think it was High Spirits was in the Discord talking about how it weirds him out to see people still buying and casting lock.
So AliGerBrap actually did, you didn't see this of course, Bert, but he did promote relatively early, so his black belt was probably only 22 or so when he promoted, so definitely will have a little bit less MDef going into this, so I would expect him to probably switch the ribbon over.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see.
I mean, he's getting the levels. Alright, so his step counter, he missed 1, so don't know, maybe he took a fight on the seafloor that got moved
yeah,
to
he broke the counter.
Yeah, like unwittingly.
Yeah.
Alright, gonna pick up. Yeah, the last life too, so good spell conservation here for AliGerBrap, having just enough to get him here. I didn't see that ribbon move.
I did not either.
But we're gonna temper, we're gonna fast, we're gonna just temper. dump it all. And defense sword. Yeah, it's a heads up play. One temper gets off, another temper gets off, fast gets off. Alright, so a little bit better turn order for Ali here compared to Burt. Inferno comes out, so we're going to live to see some more tempers, and good lord, is this black belt just going to destroy this chaos when it finally connects. And down goes our first black wizard. First punch comes out, miss. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. It's literally going to be one punch, man. Let's see what it does. 2 hits, 864. We gotta be this. We know this chaos had fewer than 2,000 HP. Defense sword comes out. I like it. Ooh, nuclear comes out. That's not good. Firing off a cure 3. Heads up play, getting that master back up above the nuke range, but how does that make you feel, chat?
That's one paper Topher right there. That was just about 1,600 HP again, and that finishes it off.
I mean, I wouldn't say the whole Topher was paper, but
oh, sorry, chaos.
Yeah,
just
chaos. Yeah, because that Kraken too was something else. So get those GGs in chat. Ali's gonna be here in a minute. He's got to probably take a bio break or something. He said give us about a minute and a half. So. Man, what?
Yeah. So you guys said that Ali had wiped to Kraken 1. I'm not sure if you noticed, but Kraken 1 had about 320 hit points.
Oh no, yeah, we caught that. It's just Ali didn't know that. He didn't have the 32 black belt going in, so he was trying Brack strats and just got blown up by chip damage on the mages and then just getting punched out. So, and then by the time he was down to a solo character, he was like his red mage, and he was trying to get the defense sword off, and then it was just like he got chip damage down while trying to mix in. I think he might have got one nuke off, but it was a low roll. So, yeah, just unfortunate. But
so, Burt, how do you feel about disrespecting Lich?
Oh well, I had to give Lich 1 a couple weights to prove a point that Lich 1 can kill my my level 25 black belt, but my level 32 black belt's gonna show her a thing or two.
There we go.
And AliGerBrap joining us in chat. GG, Ali.
Yeah, thank you. I played poorly. I made a major mistake. Like I totally forgot. I thought there were two things to find, but I forget the canal is not amongst those. It's separate, and that's pretty much. And after that, I'm pretty much looking for where's the Oxial.
Yeah.
So it took a while, but like it didn't take me that much time, so I didn't feel I was that much behind. If unless Burt played like similarly to me, I didn't feel I was that much behind. I could be wrong though.
No, you guys. I mean, we talked about it. It had Kraken 1 not wiped you. You two would have lit your fourth orb at the same time. Unfortunately, what you didn't know was that Kraken 1 had fewer than 400 HP, and Burt just one punched it before any faster tempers got off, and the black belt hit it for like 371, and Kraken was down. So you came down and tried to do the Brack stuff, and he resisted it, and then just kind of chip damaged you and whittled you down, and unfortunately, like that cost you entering Topher around the same time. Within Topher, you both had one wipe to Kraken 2. I think the biggest difference between the two runs were you went to Ice first, and that allowed you just a little bit cleaner routing, turning in the Adamant when you're getting out of the inner sea. Like Burt did Ice after getting Canal, so he had to come back. And then you being able to clear Earth in one go because Burt took a wipe on Lich 1. So you had a lead until like maybe like a minute lead, because Burt was getting through Earth a little bit quicker than you were getting through Sea, but it was pretty close throughout, and it was just like Jat and I were just trying to figure out what was going to be loose, what was going to be the floater, and just like how, like, we were both worried when you both, because both of you orphaned Chest and Sky, and we're like, they don't have the Oxyale. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah, like I think I saw it. I think I was counting. I was like, oh, I've got there are 3 items and there's only 2 spots to check, and I was like, oh, maybe I think I forgot something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Luckily, I mean, Bert found it pretty quick. He went to Cardia right away. You went back and cleared Earth, which cost you some time too. Like, had you just gone right to we saw you like you flying around after that, and we were just like, both kind of came to the conclusion that you were sort of trying to get your feet under you, just like what the heck? I don't have my Oxyale. Where am I going? And then it looked like going to Earth kind of helped settle you down, and then allowed you, because as soon as you finished checking the few places that you orphaned in Earth, you went right to Cardia and found it. So
yeah. I pretty much knew that there were not a lot of places, and I was like, okay, I probably missed it, but like it's just sometimes forgetting, and like you just want to see what is there, and like just want to float and just go, because we knew it's a race, and like you have to go fast, and like you will skip chests, hoping that like you won't get punished by that.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, and like luckily neither of you did get punished for skipping boxes. I think, Ali, what you haven't picked up is that when I roll seeds, there's always a loose in Earth. Almost always, dude. So, sorry that you had to experience that. We thought it was going to be a little bit quicker of a seed, but just the routing and how you were forced to kind of bounce around and have like a 90-minute floater just really kind of changed the pace of this seed. What
Yeah,
did
I
you?
felt it was like a hard seed. It was not straightforward. You had to go places just to be able to continue the seed and like get progression. And that was the hard part of the seed. And like I think I done it multiple times, like in Volcano. Like
Yeah,
I knew where the canal was, and I think I skipped maybe one chest in Volcano. I wasn't sure, and like there were
yeah,
a couple of chests I didn't know, but like it's like you have that in the back of your mind, just thinking, okay, well, if it's not there, it's there, but you
yeah.
might skip it and like go later if you need it later.
Yeah, your time spent wiping in Volcano was made up for by Bert doing Marsh Cave. So, and there was nothing in Marsh. I have one more question for you, then I'm going to pass it to Jat to talk to you. How did you feel about finding the masa in the validation chest?
Yeah, it kind of feels weird because I only checked the right part the first time, and I
Yeah,
was like, oh, why didn't I check the left part when once I opened it? I was like, wow.
yeah, that's tough, man. But you did well. Jat, I'm going to pass it to you.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the only question I have, just so we can start wrapping things up here, is just what did you think about the draft going into it? Were you comfortable with the black belt strat? It seemed like you didn't didn't adapt poorly to it, and you liked your wizards there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not super. I mean, I remember playing black belt, but like I haven't played black belts that often. I did play black belt party like maybe in the first round, I think, against Tyrannus, and like I have played black belts. I remember the old times where like everybody was playing with black belts, but like I've like now with this shuffled encounters, you just don't know where your grind spot will be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will point out something that maybe I'm sure you knew, but I just didn't take advantage of, and we saw it when you hit chaos. So I think the biggest difference mechanically between Swiss 2020 and Swiss 2019 is two things: the thief fixes making ninjas a little more viable as an in-game melee carry, but more importantly the lock fixes. So that chaos was super high evade, and there was the level 1 lock, and I think also early level lock 2, which would have helped mitigate that. And we saw Bert transition to that when his black belt wasn't hitting as many hits as he should have. So, did you give any thought to picking up lock when you saw it, or is it just something that you saw it and put it on the back burner and just Like I'll get it later,
Yeah.
and it just never happened.
Yeah, I totally forgot. Like I knew about it. It's just that I totally forgot where it was, and I was like,
Okay.
I thought I remember I saw both Lock and Lock 2. I just don't remember where they were, and like I'm not going to go everywhere just to find a spell.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I mean, and when the seed forces you to into the hour and a half mark, it's easy to just be like, there's no way I'm going back to buying magic except that life too. That's the only that's that's like your strategy at that point. But
Yeah, Life 2 was the only one because I remember where it was.
yeah,
Because like
Yeah.
I was like, I don't remember if they were like, I don't know
Yeah.
if Lock 2 was promotionally. I'm not sure. I know it was level. I think it was level 5, but I just
it might have been promotion locked, but I know lock was level 1. But anyway, well, I'm sorry, Jet.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I find that because the mechanics changed, like I started a little bit later, so because of that, my instincts when I see lock, I'm like, oh, this is good. But because you started playing like in the much earlier days, you might not have that same instinct where it's like when you see lock, you're like, oh, great, this is an endgame spell, and that can really make a difference here.
Yeah. But
yeah. I mean, it's a mistake, but like I mean, like everybody, like it's just like sometimes you forget about it because like it's
Yeah.
not a spell like you
Oh,
really
yeah,
use
yeah, for
except
sure.
throughout you for.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not.
yeah,
Go
no. You played well, Ali. You took a loss to Cyranus. You take the loss here to Burt. What was? I'm sorry, I didn't look at your whole schedule to see who your other 2 races were against.
I beat Sledge Calamity and I lost to Specty.
Wow. So you went up against Cyranus, Specty, and Burt. That is a tough road. Like I'm not even trying to like build you up here. Like there's no way like I face those runners and have a better record than you. Like that's wow. So unfortunately, your record though at 1-3 means like the best you could do is 3-3, which puts you in the last chance qualifier, where it's the big group race for one spot. How do you feel with that potentially on your horizons?
Well, I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just like just going to race next week, and we'll see what happens. I mean, the
I love
last
it.
chance
Yeah.
qualifier is just about luck, anyways. But like, I'm just
Yeah.
focusing on next week, and like we'll see.
Yeah, that's the right attitude, man. I love it. Yeah. Um, hell of a competitor. AliGerBrap, final thoughts on the seed, on the week. Tell us how you feel.
I mean, it's I can't wait for next week. I've got to practice this because it's really different than the other 4 weeks.
Well,
And like that one.
so next week
And
it's gonna be a random fiend dungeon. So which one in particular are you looking for?
yeah, I've got to practice that. That's the one thing because the first 4 seeds or the first 4 weeks were like pretty much what you knew what you had, but the last I know it's a little bit different. So I've got to really like study a bit to know
Well,
what I can expect for next week.
well, let me clarify something. So next week, week 5 of Swiss is just a random week. It's either going to be sky, earth, fire, or water. Week 6 will be the chaos week where it's the same flags. It's just there's nothing, no fiend dungeon is incentivized. So it'll be 3 loose plus the canal. Next week is still, it'll just be revisiting one of the previous weeks.
Oh well, then I don't think it matters much. I mean, no matter where the extra location will be, it will be difficult. I honestly, with those flags, Earth is like I don't really like Earth because like anyways, you really want to go to that location because like there's like 3 incentivized items like in the like
Yeah.
same spot. So
Yeah.
aside from that, like I mean, all the other flags like make it so like there's like a lot of ways you can go, and like I think that makes a more interesting way to raise this.
Yeah. BurtReynoldz, our winner, 2-2. Final thoughts, man?
Did we really have 5 races going at the same time?
Yeah, this was the power hour. There were 5 races tonight.
All the people who put these things on, help track and help restream and everything, they're all amazing people.
Absolutely.
And it's almost unbelievable work that they do here.
Thanks everyone. I mean, like I'm kind of surprised like it was like picked up like 5 races at the same time, and like it's everybody was had their time. So like thanks to everybody.
Yeah, and
Like
Yeah.
not only you, but like all the other races. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
impressive.
yeah. Like big shout out to all the volunteers. Yeah, like 5 restreams at the same time. That's not even counting the 7 o'clock race that started just a couple hours before the 6:30 race. You know, like there was um, 8 races today, all starting within 3 hours of each other, and all of them were able to get crewed and staffed. So everybody got a solo broadcast. It's been like my personal goal as one of the tournament organizers to never have a 4-way match because I want every match to be under a spotlight so both runners can get their show instead of it just being an awkward 4-way race. But so AliGerBrap, BurtReynoldz, wonderful competitors, wonderful people. You should definitely give them a follow if you haven't already. Jat, my co-coms, first time doing commentary. Dude, you're a natural at this, man. You freaking got it. I had a lot of fun doing this with you, man.
Awesome. Yeah, it was great being here. It was an awesome race. All I have to say as the final thoughts is I should definitely call more races that Caleb rolls. Calming
yeah.
with Caleb is great, but especially ones that he rolls. And yeah, I'd like to give special thanks to our tracker, Caleb, our restreamer, Caleb, and my co-commentator, also Caleb. So
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'll take it. And I'll also give a big shout out to my co-commentator Jat, my co-tracker Jat. Um, yeah, this is the Caleb and Jat show. It was a lot of fun. But tomorrow, I do want to let you guys know we do have more races coming your way tomorrow afternoon on Friday, May 10th. Our first race of the day, 4 o'clock. Or all these times are going to be Eastern Time, FFR Standard Time. 4 p.m. Eastern, Danny 383 taking on Rojo. Then at 5 o'clock, we have Ailmarkin taking on Sledge. 7 o'clock, we have Kenny Star versus Captain Nerd. Another 7 o'clock match, we have Cyrenus taking on One Fine Day. That is potentially a bracket preview. That's a great matchup. And then at 8 o'clock, we have a battle of 3 and O's, Thundercloud and Elastoid, and one of those O's has got to go. And then closing out the night tomorrow, we have Zyrak and Lord of the Synth at 11 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a good day for racing, so be sure to, check out Speed Gaming, check out Randomania, where we're going to find all these races. Again, thank you to Randomania for hosting us throughout the tournament. It's been a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. So I guess I'm tired. We're just going to get out of here. You'll have a good night.
Have a good rest. Have a good one.